as he picked up the receiver. He knew he was in no state of mind to have a calm, reasoned conversation right now. Turning to the CD player, he put on Aya Kamiki's latest album. Leaning back in his chair, he surrendered himself to her soothing tones. Bit by bit, he could feel himself returning to a calmer emotional state. There had been a time when Osawa hadn't listened to music at all. In fact, he had no interest in the arts in general: music, painting, cinema. It was only due to a simple coincidence that he had found Aya Kamiki. His daughter had asked for a CD as a birthday present, so he'd swung by the store to pick one up. Since Kamiki's new album had just come out, there was a display for it in the front of the shop. Something about the bright, colorful album packaging had drawn him in. After a time, Osawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice, deep breath. Okay, so he can dial up Makino and close his eyes and tries again if he can reach completely. Call Makino. He took a nice, deep breath and then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as soon as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said, nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see, then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Osawa described the emails he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. Yeah. Yeah, Tanaka. Save us. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it then. There had been human testing. Osawa went to let Tanaka know he'd be meeting with Makino. Mr. Osawa, are you going somewhere? Who that? A stolid-looking man stood in the hallway, almost as if he'd been waiting for Osawa to emerge. It was... okay. The detective. I was like, it's so creepy. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the detectives from the Shibuya precinct. Alright, so who's this guy? He's sociable but awkward. Despite his reserved personality, he can be quite unsettling. Yeah, I can see that. People call him nicknames such as Japanese Columbo and Little Ken Takakura, given his own quirky demeanor as a detective. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really, and his treatment of the kidnapping case gave an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather undependable. No, not really. Have there been any developments, detective? Kajiwara shook his head quietly. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not really sure what to tell you. Kajiwara then slipped a hand into his suit pocket. Banana? He pulled out a banana. Did you know that the famous slipperiness of banana peels is due to the oils in the inner part of their skin? But even if all the oils were removed, slapstick comedians would still probably slip on them anyway. Okay, thanks. Are you hungry? These are good for when you're tired. I'm fine, thanks, Osawa said. Kajiwara seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said, if you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. Kajiwara hurried him toward the living room. Osawa could hear other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working at a time like this? Seriously? Sheesh, I do not get rich people and their priorities. Yeah, I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Nice. They were bad-mouthing him in his own house. Oh, I'm really sorry about all that, Kajiwara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So tell me, he said sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? The detectives winced and grimaced. Forgive me for not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajiwara stepped forward to intervene before things go out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. But he knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him, but not to go out and bring Maria to safety? Who's Maria again?
His wife?
Was his wife? His wife was just here. Is that his daughter?
I guess.
Who's Maria? Totally not remembering who you are. Okay. Already close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. The ransom demand had come in the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Oh wait, this is the father of the two girls?
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah! This is the father.
Oh.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m. He looks really young to be the father of, like, that girl, honestly. Anyways. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. by Hachiko and Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at the suggestion that she make the ransom head off. Osawa was staunchly opposed to the idea, but the police were of the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. We don't have 50 million just lying around. Are the police going to be putting that together for us? Kajiwara stepped in to reassure her. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead then, do it. We'll need you to pay it back afterwards though, of course. Well then, what's the point of that? Ai's voice spiked up to a piercing shriek. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. Ai turned away in a huff. It's alright, detective, Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow morning and figure something out. At that, Ai stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Hitomi has made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on. Won't that put Maria in danger? If we let the kidnapper get away with the money, we have no proof that he will return the hostage safely afterwards. There was a certain logic there, Osawa had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? Oh, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow and bowed profusely. At least I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. Alright then. I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. How long are you going to just loaf around? Ai shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy. She was becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, and yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so the Osawas had been left in the dark. But they had overheard the task force talking over the wireless, and it appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey! Ai snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reimburse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. Osawa chided his wife. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Or Osawa said nothing. I don't know. She's crazy. So
She's crazy.
so we should just let her be annoying.
She crazy?
I mean, she's just gonna
She's
take a
crazy.
bite out of us if
Yeah.
we say.
That is pretty true.
Okay, that's just. I don't know, but I'm curious why she's. Oh, oops.
Why is she
I'm.
worried about the money?
Yeah, what is she like in on this? Like, does she care more about the money than her own daughter? Like, what's going on?
Huh.
I don't know. What do you think we should do? Chide her? No,
I
not
feel like
chide
we
her.
get more information out of her too, like if we chide her.
Yeah, should we chide her then?
Let's do it.
Osawa chided his wife. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Only money? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much we're talking about here?
$100,000.
The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. He should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. By now he was accustomed to Ai's coldness towards the two girls. The twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife,
Oh.
who'd passed
I see.
away 15 years earlier. I had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now we're focused on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question. Answer me. Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, would you like something to eat to help you calm down? He held out a banana. I smacked it out of his hand. Oh no, it's bruised! Oh dear, what a waste. Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Osawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear, I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father too? No, not at all. Personally, I happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admirable. Did the word have a ring of sarcasm? What? What's going on? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. Slowly slides backwards. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research. Or, well, so I've been told. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who was more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little bit odd, after all, Kajiwara went on. Probably he'd intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos, so long as they leave us ordinary folks alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius, weirdo. What did it even matter? So long as he could be left to his work, he didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand even if I explained it to you, Osawa replied. Right, precisely. Even if I gave it my full attention, it would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. What the?
God.
I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir, he said. Osawa gaped, at a loss for words. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kajiwara added hurriedly. Goodness, that made it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't it? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. I hope you'll forgive me. He held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this then? This time he pulled a bar of chocolate from his pocket. No, thank you. Did this guy just carry an endless food supply wherever he went? Oh my, Kajiwara murmured. You geniuses really are tough to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. What can I get for you then, sir? What I'd really like is some time by myself. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to his study. Locking the door, he finally let out the breath he'd been holding. Then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken the girls himself. He remembered that after the ceremony, Hitomi had come down with a fever. Hitomi had been rather sickly as a girl, falling bedridden at the drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different, despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of the three of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt like someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters, or biology? Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? It was ridiculous to try to compare the two. He'd known the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated and sometimes made people act inconsistently. One of the consequences of that was his photo album. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched through the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. To be continued?
What?
We have all the to be continues now, so maybe that means we can continue on something, hopefully. Alright. Good, you understand? Way back when we started. Oh, you're older now. You and I are one of and the same. Noon. 1 o'clock. And then in the afternoon. Cool. Cat's out of the box. Right. So cool. So time chart. Continue on all of them. Let's see what's after. Here's this flashback. The rain won't let up. No matter how much time passes, it just won't stop. Ever since that day, the sound of raindrops has been burned into my mind. Such an awful, heart-rending sound, driving me to strip my life down to shadows. And yet, no matter what else I abandon, nothing will make the sound of the rain stop. King Solomon's Pillars. Osawa stared at a postcard that was nestled into the final page of the photo album. He'd purchased it 2 years earlier while on a trip with Maria to the Middle East. What is the Middle East? Originally used to indicate Iran, Afghanistan, and the region surrounding them. In modern times, the term refers to part of southwestern Asia, excluding India and Afghanistan, and a section of northeastern Africa along the Mediterranean coast. However, in Japan, as well as the US, the term Middle East is often understood to refer specifically to those parts of the region with a strong Islamic influence. He'd mentioned that he was being sent there on business, and Maria had just blurted out, "I want to go with you." She'd recently developed an interest in the Middle East conflict, and apparently she had been yearning to see the area firsthand. So there was this friction in the Palestine region between the Jewish people who founded the nation of Israel and the Arabs who'd been living there previously. The religious and historical context of this cultural clash is well beyond the scope of what can be elucidated here. Okay, thanks. His daughter's newfound curiosity had taken him aback. She had always tended to be quiet and self-contained. The clumsy conversations aboard the airplane, the meals eaten together in awkward silence, it all felt like such a distant memory to Osawa now. "Ma'am, I'm afraid I can't let you do that," he heard Kajiwara's voice outside the door. "Why ever not? I'm just going out for a bit." The detective was arguing with Ai. Great. "And just who was it who told me I should try to go about my life as normal, Osawa's wife sneered. "Ma'am, please, how would you feel about being told to just sit around and wait?" Ai's angry shriek jerked Osawa to his feet. He hurried from the study to try to calm her down. Ma'am, please wait!" But by the time Osawa had made his way downstairs, his wife had already stormed outside despite Kajiwara's attempts to stop her. Osawa doubted anything he could have said would have stopped Ai from leaving. Also, his pants are really shiny. What is that? What is he wearing?
Garbage bag.
Yeah, that does look like garbage bag. Trying to physically keep her from going out would only have made for an even worse uproar. He was glad that at least it hadn't come to that. He was turning to head back to his study when Kajiwara caught his eye. Resigned, he headed down the stairs and bowed to the detective. You live in a weird place here. Any idea where she's going? Kajiwara asked. I mean, at a time like this. Osawa shook his head. I wouldn't know. I didn't think so. You know, your wife really is something else. Osawa arched an eyebrow. That's one way to describe her. A rather rude way, as a matter of fact. Oh, no offense intended. It's just, ever since this case started, you've been both holed up in your own respective rooms. The more Kajiwara spoke, the more irritated Osawa became. What's your point? He demanded. I just mean, you haven't been having any, marital discourse. What is marital discourse? According to one survey, in roughly 6% of households, discourse between spouses is largely non-existent. Various reasons for this were offered by the couples in question. Many claimed that they were too tired to have the energy to talk, or stated we wind up fighting when we talk, or we have nothing to talk about. Okay. Mind your own business, Osawa snapped. Kajiwara dipped his head deferentially. The two of us not talking isn't a new thing anyhow, Osawa added. I have a policy of not having pointless conversations. Okay, so he can make it through an entire day without conversation. A streak of 14 consecutive days during which he did not talk to anyone. So just like a whole week, like 2 weeks. Huh. It didn't look as though Kajiwara quite understood. Microorganisms such as viruses don't have conversations, and yet still they continually propagate in order to survive. Thinking about viruses, Osawa was back in familiar territory. He felt a surge of confidence. Once you have a clear purpose, conversation is unnecessary. And do you have a clear purpose for the relationship with your wife, Mr. Osawa? Of course I do. To be a family. Arms crossed, Kajiwara struck a thoughtful pose. At least I've learned one useful thing today, Mr. Osawa. Namely that you don't like to have pointless conversations. It's a good thing to know. Kajiwara uncrossed his arms for a moment, and crossed them right back again, furrowing his brow. But see, that's funny. You seem to have a tendency to have pointless conversations with me, and because you keep coming to talk to me, Osawa saw red, you don't leave me much of a choice. Tanaka poked his head out of the living room. What is... This is weird.
House?
Yeah. Is something the matter, he asked? No. Osawa struggled to regain his calm. Perfect timing, actually. There's something I need to talk to you about. He turned back to Kajiwara. My apologies, detective, but would you mind giving us some privacy? Kajiwara didn't move. Detective? Osawa gave the policeman a hard look and saw him crack a smile. Yes, what is it? Kajiwara said at last. Don't you play down with me. Give us some privacy. Is this a discussion I shouldn't overhear? Actually, yes, it's work related. They are business matters I'd prefer to keep confidential. Ah, I see. Reluctantly getting to his feet, Kajiwara slipped away into the living room. Osawa began. About those emails, he stopped abruptly. Kajiwara had reappeared in the living room door, staring right at them. What are you doing? Osawa demanded. Oh, should I not be watching? Osawa felt like he was about to burst a blood vessel. I mean, you never told me that I couldn't watch. Because it should be obvious. The detective made a scolded puppy face, then closed the living room door. Osawa let out a heavy sigh. He'd never been an extrovert, but he didn't recall human interaction being quite this draining. Anyway, sir, Tanaka prompted, you were saying? Yes, about those emails. Something doesn't make sense. I don't understand how Mr. Makino was able to get the antiviral agent to anyone on the outside. Sharing an Okushi Pharmaceuticals drug with external sources while it was still under development required the approval of an executive committee that included Osawa himself. There should have been no way the antiviral could be sent out without his knowledge. Tanaka hesitated a few moments before responding. Are you aware of the strife between... It lives in a cave, yeah, like a dungeon. Are you aware of the strife between the company president and the chairman? Osawa shook his head. He was a researcher through and through. Factional rivalries held no interest for him whatsoever. Makino effectively leads the chairman's team, and the antiviral agent is their pet project. Despite being the executive officer in charge of the project, however, Makino still needs the president's approval too. You know what? Forget about that right now. What do you do about security? In theory, it was physically impossible to get the antiviral out of the lab without detection. Entry to the biohazard laboratory where it was kept required fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. You can watch this video. Wow. Oh, okay. Alright. I'm glad I watched that. Without the two of them there, nobody could get into the storage facility. Okay. Alright, cool. Tanaka followed his drift. Ah, yes, I see what you mean. He inclined his head in thought as Osawa continued. Could someone have overridden the fingerprint authentication program? Let's check the entry logs for the storage section. We'll have to ask Makino in person. I don't know, I feel like Tanaka... I don't know, maybe I just don't trust anyone, actually, but what if Tanaka's in on this? What if... Asking Makino, you mean? Should we check the entry logs? Let's check the entry logs for the storage section. Anyone who wanted to get inside had to present their ID card to a security guard on duty. It should be possible to check the computer logs to see if there had been any suspicious activity in the system. Tanaka shook his head. I already checked the logs, sir. There's no evidence of anything suspicious. You're welcome to check for yourself, though, if you're that worried. No, I believe you. Do we trust Tanaka? Oh. Yet the fact was that the antiviral had been used for clinical testing. Either Makino had taken it from the laboratory personally, or someone working on his orders had done so. But how? Was there really some way they could have bypassed lab security without anyone else knowing? Osawa couldn't think how it would be possible. Oh my god. The living room door opened with a soft creak. It was Kajiwara, and he looked stiff and pale. Something terrible has happened, he said. Visions of tragedy flooded Osawa's mind. Maria, is she? Kajiwara shook his head. No, it's not that. What is it then? Osawa asked, his voice trembling. Sir, I need you to stay calm. Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. You see, the toilet's clogged.
What?
Oh my god. Plunger in hand. Plunger.
Why is there additional information?
Yeah, well, it makes a variety of sounds when used, such as glub, glorks, schluck, schlorp, schloop, schloop, and pop. Osawa stabbed vigorously at the recalcitrant toilet bowl, struggling to loosen the unseen blockage. Kajiwara was at his side, wiping up the floor with a rag. How did this even happen? The detective groaned. Are you kidding? I was hoping you could tell me that. The plunger sucked and slurped at the porcelain basin. This was a first for Osawa. He never tried to unclog a toilet before in his life. Think of it as a blessing in disguise, Mr. Osawa. What the hell are you talking about? What about this constitutes a blessing? I just meant that at least this happened before you needed to, do your business. Without the slightest hint of guile on his face, Kajiwara picked up his bucket and headed for the sink back in the washing area. Grumbling to himself, Osawa pumped the plunger over and over again. This was almost funny. Almost ridiculous, in fact. His daughter had been kidnapped and he was stuck unclogging a toilet. He was quite possibly caught up in a major corporate conspiracy, and here he was, unclogging a toilet. Tanaka poked his head into the bathroom. Did you fix it yet? If you need to urinate, then use the restroom on the second floor. That's alright. Here's fine. Tanaka stepped in beside him and abruptly shut the bathroom door. Now the two men were crammed together in the narrow lavatory. Hey! Osawa hissed. What the hell are you doing? Tanaka made eye contact with Osawa via the mirror. He spoke in a hushed voice. I've been waiting. For a moment, I could get you alone. What? Tanaka sidled around to face him, giving him an intense stare. Sir, could you please be quiet for a moment? Tanaka had tears in the corners of his eyes. This would only take a moment. Oh, he's gonna kill him. Osawa could feel the warm breath of his deputy whispering against his cheek. Tanaka reached for something inside his coat. Hey, come on, knock it off. Osawa lifted the plunger-like weapon. Look, if you want to talk, we can do it out there. Osawa shoved Tanaka out of the bathroom. Alright, do as you wish. Osawa closed his eyes. I don't trust this at all. Shove him? Look, if you want to talk, we can do it out there. Osawa shoved Tanaka out of the bathroom. Hey, hold on, wait! Oh. With Osawa still pushing against his back, Tanaka reached into his suit pocket and fished out his cell phone. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. Keep out?
Uh-oh.
Okay, well I guess it didn't matter, but that was some spooky stuff. I thought he was gonna kill us.
Or like,
Rape us. I was either one, and I didn't like any of them.
It's really funny that you thought
I don't know, he was being real sketch, so I don't know.
Well, that like behind you.
It's like, I've been waiting to be alone with you.
Yeah.
Like, that just makes, like, anyone real uncomfortable. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna keep out now. So cute. In 1 hour, the Burning Hammer sales demo will begin. Oh
What?
my god. What's she eating? Chidi is laying out the assortment of snacks that we'll have on hand. Hey Tama, you hungry? Why, yes I am. Yes I am. I mean, that should be pretty obvious at this point. All I've had since putting on this stupid mascot costume is some burning hammer and a bunch of iced tea. Hey now, Chidi shoots back. What's with that attitude? Chidi, you do remember that you ate my lunch, right? The sticker said it was best before noon. You just made that up. Heh, yeah. Chidi chortles merrily and chugs some more iced tea. Okay, folks, Mr. Yanagishita calls out as he slips into the room. Lunch break's over. Back to work. I don't feel like I've had much of a break. If anything, I'm even more mentally exhausted than I was before. There's a box full of Anagochi toys in the storeroom on the third floor. Mind bringing those down? Anagochi, I asked? What's that? The name makes it sound like some sort of product knockoff. Mr. Yanagishita's face widens in surprise. You never heard of them? Oh, Tamagotchis.
Oh.
You know, Anagochi. Oh, Anago. Oh my goodness.
What?
Anago, Unagi,
Yeah.
Anago, Tamagotchi.
What's Tamagotchi?
Tamagotchis are those little. Really?
Wait, so is Tama egg or something?
Yeah, you never. Look up Tamagotchi right now. These.
Oh.
You know
they're
them.
literally eggs.
Wait, but you know what these are?
No, not really.
What?
Never had one.
What? Okay, look. So these are like.
Oh, they combine Tamago and Gotchi.
So you have like 3 buttons, and like you could like take care of this little pet. And it evolves.
Oh, Tamagotchi, Anagotchi. That's pretty clever. Huh.
Yeah, well, Anagochi might actually be
Trout
like
wash?
even better.
Oh. What?
This is weird. A portable electronic game in which you raise a conger eel, Anago, feeding it daily and clearing away feces. Depending how you raise your eel, it can wind up developing into various forms from normal eel to ultimate eel sushi. You can also use the infrared communication feature to bring over friends for your eel from another nearby Anagochi device. There's also a sister product, Trout Watch. By connecting the two, you can view a special event where the eel and trout characters go to a pub together. It's a digital pet game where you raise an eel that lives in Tokyo Bay. Never heard of it, I say. Huh, well, I guess maybe a lot of people in Japan haven't heard of it yet. But it's all in the rage right now with youngsters over in New York City. NYC? Oh, he must mean... Oh. In NYC! NYC? Oh, he must mean New York City. It's popular in New York? Really? Anyway, I did some quick checking, and that's what I learned. So last month, I bought a whole bunch of them. And once again, you were swindled. Yep. Ouch. Chidi dropping the hard truth. Mr. Yanagishita lets out a pathetic whimper. No! Just like that, his confidence evaporates. He starts muttering to himself. I thought it sounded a little fishy, really. Haha. I mean, think about it. Why would kids in New York be interested in raising eels from Tokyo Bay? He muses. And what appeal would an eel character even have, anyway? None, that's what. I should have known that. I did know that. Know it. Oh my god. Then why'd you buy them? This farce is getting tiresome. Anyway, Yanagishita continues. It was gonna cost way too much to keep them in storage, so I was just gonna let the recycling guy take them. He hangs his head in shame. In a matter of moments, he's borderline catatonic. What?
So apparently these are conger eels.
Oh, wow.
They're huge.
They are really big.
Holy.
I mean, you're looking at the largest conger eels right now, so...
No, that yields a lot of anago.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
The type of eel that gives Anagochi its name, Anago, can be loosely translated as the creature that lives in a hole. Mr. Yanagishita is probably wishing he could crawl into a hole right about now. Chidi, on the other hand, flashes a big, bright grin. Still, you know, eel's pretty delicious. Oh, Chidi! Yanagishita blurts. Thank you! She clasps her hand in gratitude. I wasn't exactly complimenting you there, boss. It's the same thing. There's a little bit of me in each of my products. Anagochi and I are one and the same, which is to say, eels and I are one and the same. Go on then. Say something nice about eels. She chimes right in without missing a beat. Eels are awesome. When it comes to eel sushi, 100 pieces barely whets my appetite. You know, those two make quite a pair. That really means a lot to me, Chidi. Thank you. Thank you. I don't understand what any of this is about, but if it helps mend Mr. Yanagishita's wounded spirits, I guess I can't complain. I'll leave them to their devices and head for the storeroom. Ah, spooky. The storeroom door opens with a rough grating sound. Okay, now where's the light switch? I fumble around in the dark, feeling for the switch box. My costume paws mute the sensations in my hands enough that even finding that is difficult. I bat at the wall willy-nilly until eventually the lights come on. Apparently I found the switch even if I didn't feel it. Whoa. What the heck is this? The storeroom is practically overflowing with shoddy goods. A painting that looks like a child's scribblings. An oddly shaped hat bearing the words, "Grow 2 inches! Guaranteed!" A cheap-looking pendant with a tag that says, "It's set with a miracle stone." These stones are nothing more than simple glass beads that were purchased at 5,000 yen a piece. The seller claimed normally these sell for 10,000 a pop, but if you buy 100 of them, I'll give you half off, at which the buyer declared it really is a miracle before joyfully agreeing to the purchase. The fact that someone like Yanagishita actually exists to buy these things up is also a kind of miracle. It's like this is the knockoff boneyard where cheap products go to die. They break away from their pathetic herd, knowing their time has come, and end up in the graveyard of a storeroom. Let's see, Anagochi. I quickly spy the cardboard box that I'm looking for. Then I catch sight of a dark silhouette out of the corner of my eye. Eek! I yelp. Oh, it's a cockroach. It's one of them. Black, flat, quick, long antennae. Often spotted in kitchens. Sometimes, somehow, their legs wind up in restaurant food. Ew. Them. The size, the speed, the dark shape, it couldn't be anything else. It peers back at me from the shadow of the Anagochi box, with faint light catching the luster of its carapace. It looks ready to leap out at me at any moment. I need to act fast. I think we should just smash the box and run. How do you fight it? It's gonna get into our, like, costume and, like, kill us. Can we just snatch it? I snatch a cardboard box and make a run for it. Pretty sure you should never fight a cockroach. You will lose every time. Phew, I made it. When I get back to the break room, Mr. Yanagishita is still clutching Chidi's hands. And eel's super tasty when you salt broil it too. Thank you! But tempura style is probably the best. Thank you! Man, this head looks way bigger than her head. You see this? This head's gigantic. How is this possible? Well, Mr. Yanagishita's spirits have certainly turned around. Okay, got it! I hold out the big cardboard box. Excellent, thank you. You girls are the greatest, Yanagishita shouts. His voice resounds with gratitude. Hey, that's it. I just got an amazing idea. Why don't the 3 of us start our own company? I'll pass. Chidi and I respond in unison. Man, you 2 shot that one down quick. Oh, well. For today, let's just focus on selling Burning Hammer. By the way, where is the Burning Hammer? There wasn't any in the storeroom, and I don't see any here either. Oh, that's right. It's out back on the loading dock. We should probably go bring it in. Oh, and bring like Anagochis with you too. The recycling guy's gonna be showing up soon. Come on, let's go. Chidi and I follow Mr. Yanagishita out to the loading dock. It's gone. But the loading dock, it turns out, is empty. There's no sign of the burning hammer anywhere. It's gone, Mr. Yanagishita murmurs. Then his voice rises to a shout. It's gone! All gone! The burning hammer! It's all gone! Flying into a panic, he searches frantically from one end of the dock to the other, leaping into the air, even peering down into the cracks. But no matter where he looks, there's nothing for him to find. It was right here a little while ago. Like, right here. Right here. I hear the sound of an engine revving outside. Mr. Yanagishita cries out in alarm. We can see a truck starting to pull away. His bed is piled high with cardboard boxes and other assorted trash. Hey, boss, is that? Yes, there it is. Mr. Yanagishita begins racing after the truck. My burning hammer! His voice cracks as he cries out, give that back! Give it back! But he's no match for a speeding truck, and the boxes of burning hammer vanish before his eyes. Burning hammer! Come back! Come back! My god, his face. Yanagishita's wailing echoes from the surrounding buildings. It's like something out of a movie. What the hell? What's up with that truck? Tama! Who the hell is that? Hey, don't look at me, I replied. With all those piles of stuff, it looks just like the recycling guy. As soon as he says it, revelation dawns on his face. The recycling guy? He muttered. I can see the color draining from his face. The words recycling guy give me an idea. If it was him, maybe he thought he was picking up the Anagotchi spider. We have to find it! We have to find that truck! The man is absolutely beside himself. Chidi, Tama, you two split up and try to track it down. Wait, why do we have to look for it? Again, Chidi and I speak in chorus. If there's no sales demo, there's no money to pay you. And then all the work you've done will be for nothing. Right, when he puts it that way, I guess there isn't much of a choice. Somehow or another, we'll have to find that truck. It can't have gone far, he continues. Now go run for it like your life depended on it. Chidi and I look at each other and sigh. How do you want to do this? She asks. Want to search together or should we split up? Let's go together. Splitting up means you die. What do you think? Split up?
Yeah, I feel like you're not gonna find it by yourself, right?
Not as like a cat.
Yeah.
Split together, and so Chidi and I head out in search of the truck. As we make our way down Center Guy, peering in all directions, I accidentally bump right into a man who's out with his daughter. Oh, pardon me! I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in a ponytail. Ow! He bows at the same time, and we manage to bonk our heads together. Sorry! As her dad drops to his knees, clutching his head, the girl begins to wander on. Hana, wait! Hana, oh!
That's him.
Yeah. The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. She seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age. As we make our way back down the road, Chidi's eyes light upon a cafe. Man, I'm super hungry, she mutters. Not now, we have to find a truck. Yeah, I know. I stride purposefully along, and though Chidi flashes the eatery a long, lingering look, she falls into step behind me. Chidi and I wander around town for another 10 minutes or so. We don't see any sign of the truck though. Ugh, I sigh. It really is good and gone, huh? I turn and look back at Chidi. Huh? Wait, what? Chidi's gone. She must have slipped away from me at some point. I take a quick look around, but there's no sign of her. When did she split off? She was just there 2 or 3 minutes ago. It's 12:35. The sales demo starts in 25 minutes. What do? I don't have time to go looking for Chidi. Guess I'll have to keep searching for a truck by myself then. But I have no clues to go on, so I don't know how I'm going to find it. What should I do? Keep out. Okay. Still doing good. Yeah. Minorikawa stood on the sidewalk, weighing his options. Chiaki's phone call had thrown him for a loop. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had a schedule of his own to keep. The surveillance camera story had to be his top priority. Chiaki would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her end. He headed on down Dogenzaka, scanning his surroundings as he went. There were cameras set up on the streetlights all over the place. There were so many, it was hard to believe. He never noticed them before. One over there, another just over here. Electronic eyes peering down on passersby from high above, where they were tougher to spot. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to the situation? Hey, you there! Minorikawa called out to a man riding by on a bicycle. Hey, you, stop! The man brought his bike to a sudden stop. This man is Taisei Yasuda, proprietor of Knick-Knack Shop. Oh, that's the guy that Achi gave him some trash. Yeah. He's in a bad mood now. Since then, he's been going around on his bicycle, still picking things up from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike where he stores his finds. Huh? Oh, what's the matter? He asked. Hi, the name is Minoru Minorikawa. I'm a freelance writer. Okay. I'm just doing interviews for a magazine, and I'd like to talk to you. A magazine? Which one? 4-Star General Gossip. Minorikawa did his best to sound proud. Oh, well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here. Minorikawa soldiered on. See that? He pointed at one of the nearby surveillance cameras. What? The man asked. The blimp? A massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead. No, the camera! The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. Oh, that. What about it? What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all throughout Shibuya. They're taking anything and everything. Privacy be damned. A shocked pallor came to the man's face. Oh, really? He muttered uneasily to himself. I guess I should be careful next time I go picking stuff up. Hey, what are you talking about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, nothing, just stuff. Way to dodge the question entirely. Anyway, I think there are some good things about the cameras too, the man said hurriedly. Oh? Minorikawa asked, such as? Well, I mean, they must have helped catch some crooks, right? Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, I am? The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. Are you hiding something from me? Huh? No, nothing in particular. The man shook his head vehemently. Nothing at all, really? Well, whatever, Minorikawa said. In any case, even if the cameras are helping in arresting criminals, there are some places where people just don't want to be watched. Whoa. For instance, how would you like it if someone set up a security camera inside your home? What do you mean? I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you could be alerted right away. Isn't that kind of an extreme argument? Nope! You're the one making the extreme argument here! What? The man stared, bewildered. You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses. Yeah, I guess I am, the man mumbled. Minorikawa snorted. You don't think too deeply about things, do you? He mocked. The man huffed in indignation. I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's a normal enough opinion to want to bring down crime but also protect privacy? Well, yeah, so if they're going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Norikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive. Naive about what? By now, the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works. A simple change in camera angle is all it'll take to steal the last traces of your privacy away. It's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't 4-star general gossip get all its scuttlebutt by invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Norikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? I've got nothing to be ashamed about, Norikawa exclaimed. If some celebrity scandal breaks, I write it up in the form of a top-class, socially conscious expose. That's the Norikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes, pleased, as if anyone's ever heard of that. Your everyday freelance reporter would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to disrupt personal privacy, but not me, oh no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And you wanna know why? The man's only response was a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it! Norikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but journalistic arrogance, the man railed. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'd rather have surveillance cameras any day if the alternative is some weird gossip piece. This time, Norikawa didn't have a handy retort. An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right, I see. Norikawa muttered to himself as he busily scribbled in his notepad. The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Norikawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up. You'll have to forgive me. What? The man peered up at Norikawa in disbelief. This is just my interview style. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox. But you're a weirdo, you know that? But the man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot, Norikawa laughed. So can I go now? Sure, I'll quote you as passerby A in my article. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. Whatever. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. He quickly sped off on his bike. Norikawa now had some material for a surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he'd managed to put together so far. He decided to head toward his next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe, where he could stop to work on his copy. Oh, there's gonna be the girl and the dad, right? He used the map included in the project proposal to guide him. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nokane building where the Burning Hammer demo was being held was just down Center Dive. There's no indication of which floor the event would be held on, however. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building. He spotted it's a different cafe. He spotted a cafe up ahead. Colado. Coffee, please! Coffee, please, he shouted as he strode inside. He slumped down in an open chair. Hopefully, he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock working on his article. If he couldn't have it done by then, finishing the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for his computer to boot up. Having a smoke was Norikawa's little trigger for going into writing mode. Food mode, sleep mode, writing mode at the same time. Okay, normal. He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea for his article came to his head, nearly fully formed. All he needed to do now was to get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up. Wow. Took you long enough, pal, he muttered to the computer. His hands leapt to the keyboard like a predator pouncing on its prey. In a matter of moments, he had hit his stride. His fingers clicked away. One by one, lines of text filled up the screen. Contained. A waitress stepped up beside him. Excuse me, sir. But Norikawa was in writing mode. He didn't even see her. Sir? Sir, I beg your pardon. Again, Norikawa was deaf to the waitress's attempt to get his attention. Sir, excuse me. The waitress smacked the table. Quiet! Minorikawa snapped, slammed the table right back. Don't interrupt me when I'm working, not if you know what's wrong with you. The waitress didn't so much as flinch. She leaned in impressively, getting right in Minorikawa's face. She's cool glasses, I wish I could have glasses. Anyways. Ikumi Omiya, employee at Collabo Cafe. While appearing cute and demure at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. One middle-aged businessman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry." Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking. Minorikawa blinked. Huh? This is a non-smoking establishment, sir. No smoking? Minorikawa asked. The cigarette bobbed in his mouth as he spoke. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall. No smoking. The words "no smoking" were spelled out as clear as day. We ask that patrons please not smoke so that the other customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee. The waitress drew herself up in arrogant triumph. A woman sitting at the table next made a face as she tried to fan the smoke away with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at him. You guys don't know the first thing about the aroma of coffee, Minorikawa scoffed. The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke. The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. But this time she didn't point the sign. She pointed to the door. Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside. Sometime later, sitting inside the cafe, Lautrec. Oh, they allow smoking there, I guess. Minorikawa lit up his third cigarette. At last, a safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe. There's a smoking section now. Oh, okay, they have large vents. Now he was in a rush to make up for lost time. His fingers flew over the keyboard at lightning speed. Sounds pretty slow. Really, really slow lightning from noob. The more he wrote, the harder he focused. At this rate, he'd have the story wrapped up in no time. It sounds like a short essay. Today, you hear me? A voice intruded suddenly on his awareness. One of the other customers was shouting, "You're breaking up with that fellow today!" Minorikawa's fingers drifted to a halt. He looked around to see where the voice had come from. An older man, red in the face, was shouting at the young woman who sat across from him. "Please, Dad," the woman pleaded. "Stop. You're making a scene." Ah, a father and daughter, then. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously toward his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Minorikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? I'm kind of curious what happens if he takes a look. But I mean, okay, fine. Gathering up his laptop, Minorikawa switched to a different table. "I don't care if I'm making a scene," the older man was saying. "I'm not leaving until I see you cut ties with that boy. Do you understand?" "I understand that you're never happy unless you get your way. You're acting like a spoiled child." "Don't you talk back to me! You don't understand your own situation. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment without putting any thought into your future." "No, Dad, you're the one who doesn't understand." The father-daughter argument was getting more and more heated. Dad was clearly furious. Minorikawa shifted closer, curious to see what might happen next. Then he saw the daughter's face and gasped out loud. "Oh, hey, I know you. Wait, you're on TV, right?" The father scowled up at him. "You must be mistaken," he said gruffly. "No, I'm sure of it," Minorikawa said. "God, what show am I thinking of?" The young woman seemed disconcerted by his enthusiasm. Who was she? He called out to a waitress who was passing by. "Hey, miss, do you know this gal? She's an actress, right? She's right on the tip of my tongue." The waitress ignored him, but Minorikawa was undeterred. I know this. Weren't you in one of those TV dramas or something? Touched by a tuna. Operation Probably thinking of Masami Nakahama. Operation Coco's The Last Frenchman. Touched by a tuna. Or Sailor Moon Pies. Okay. Right, we're leaving, the father grumbled. He rose from his seat, radiating aggravation. Huh? The young woman said, but, not waiting to hear her objection, he grabbed her by the hand and stormed out of the cafe. Hey, hold on, Minorikawa squawked. His plea fell on deaf ears. All he could do was watch them go, and shuffle back to his seat in disappointment. Damn it, what was her name? I should have asked her for her autograph. Mumbling under his breath, Minorikawa went back to typing. What's that? It was a bomb. His hands went still as a strange noise intruded on his reverie. Whatever it was close by. What in the world does that sound? Let's find out what it is. Sounds dangerous, right? Whose cell phone beeps like a bomb, dude? I need to get to the bottom of this or I'll never be able to concentrate. Just where the heck is the sound coming from? He searched his surroundings for a moment and quickly discovered that the noise was coming from his own bag. Oh, a bug detector. He pulled out one of the most important tools of his trade, a bug detector. It was on and it had picked up a signal. To a reporter, information was life. That made owning a bug detector a sensible precaution in this line of work. With the device in hand, Minorikawa casually scanned the area. Eventually, he zeroed in on the signal. Oh, this is bad. That's probably the cop, right? Because like they're all over Shibuya and they're like trying to. What was that? Oh, okay. He stood up. Everyone, your attention, please! He announced. Someone set up a listening device in here. Several cafe patrons turned their head in disbelief. A woman wreathed in pungent perfume flashed in a disagreeable look. Oh, come on, that's ridiculous, she huffed. There's something fishy going on. The only thing fishy right now is you, the woman declared disdainfully. Why don't you get out of here and let everyone enjoy their meals? No, I smell a scoop. You what? You, what's your name? None of your business, that's what. Hurry up and stop that awful noise. The other customers were starting to murmur loudly. There's a listening device here, folks, Minorikawa said. How can that not bother you? Do you know where it could be? Oh, that's Maria. No, that's it's I. That's the wife. Excuse me, the woman called out. Could someone please do something about this man? A waitress hurried over. Sir, please, you're bothering our other customers. There's a listening device in here. That's what people should be bothered by right now. The waitress took a reflexive step backward at the words listening device. You're the one who's intruding on everyone, the woman shouted. Honestly, could you please stop that racket? It's not me making that racket, it's the bug tracker. Just who the hell do you think you are? Police! Somebody call the police! Ma'am, please calm down, the waitress said. There are other customers here and I'll calm down once you get this disrespectful boor out of here. All I'm doing is sharing the truth. You can't kick me out for that. The waitress wavered, clearly intimidated by both of them. You've sure got a lot of nerve, the woman snapped at Minorikawa. Go play detective someplace else. I'm not a detective. I'm a reporter. Really now. By far my least favorite profession. Oh ho, and why is that? Did someone write that story about you, lady? Got skeletons in your closet? You shut your mouth. How dare you? Yeah, I smell a scoop here, alright, and the smell is coming from you! Oh, stop it with your scoop nonsense already. There's no use trying to hide things from me. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, yes I do, lady. Go to hell. After you. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. As they shouted over each other, their words blurred together until they were barely words anymore. The onlookers could hear only indistinct, meaningless raving. And still the yelling went on and on and on. Eventually there came the sound of approaching sirens. But even when a police cruiser pulled up outside the cafe, the two didn't slow their bickering. Sniffing for a scoop. Well, that was fun. I think part of it was because, what did we do?
Well, we.
Should we just turn it off then? Should? Well, never mind. You can focus on this article. Inoikawa tried to immerse himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound. Time passed. Eventually, the pace of his writing slowed down a bit, and Minorikawa glanced at his watch. It was later than he thought. Pretty soon, he was going to have to head over to get an interview from the diet drink people. He reached into his bag for the project proposal to double-check the demo location. Huh? The proposal, it's gone. Crap, where the heck did it go? He checked all around the table, but he didn't see it anywhere. Maybe he left it at the other cafe, the non-smoking place? Well, he didn't have time to go back for it now. His phone rang. What now? Minorikawa snapped as he answered it. A tiny squeak came through the receiver. It was followed by the sound of sniffling sobs. I'm sorry, I just... Chiaki? Was she done with her interviews, maybe? It's no use. People won't stop to talk, no matter how hard I try. Her voice broke up into further sobs. Oh, come on! This again? Really? You can't do it. Don't worry about paying me. Just please let me go home. Minorikawa was already operating on a too tight schedule. He didn't have time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all. Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep at it a little longer. You should have seen this coming when he first called her. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. Please, just forget you ever called me. She hung up before Minorikawa could get another word in. He tried calling her back, but she didn't pick up. Damn it, Chiaki, don't you dare bail on me. Leaving money for his coffee on the table, Minorikawa jumped up and bolted from the cafe. The plaza outside Shibuya Station was crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around, but there was no sign of Chiaki. She bailed. Minorikawa dropped to his knees in despair. Seems like a bad thing, too. His last hope had up and left. There was no one else he could even ask. Damn it. Alright then, fine, I'll do it myself. He dragged himself back to his feet. Alright, listen up. Standing over dog. He shouted at the passing crowd. I'm doing 3 interviews here, starting now. You guys, shut up and help me. I mean, don't shut up, but help me. He wound up blowing way too much time just to get 2 pages worth of content, leaving himself unable to finish the other articles. In the end, the issue of Forest Star General Gossip never made it to the newsstands, and Heaven Publishing went down for the count. Cat got on the... Well, I think it was actually right to pick up the bug. But we need to get her, we need to stop her from going to the coffee shop, basically, because she's the one who creates a scene.
Yeah.
So I think we need but we can't because he's already... Oh, maybe, so why did... When did she leave? Before, right? Or was it at the end here? Kano had been watching syndicate members hand off the attaché case for an hour and a half. He still had no idea where this relay might be headed. The man he was tailing now was about 10 meters away, close enough that Kano could close the distance and apprehend him at a moment's notice. But his orders remained the same: follow and observe. He watched as the case was handed off once more. By now, the shock of seeing it pass to yet another accomplice had worn off. It's already been 90 minutes, huh? It was Sasayama. At some point, he crept up on Kano from behind. They don't seem like they're trying to get away at all, Kano said. They're just walking. What could they be up to? Sasayama shrugged. Yeah, it's weird. Kano recalled dictum number 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. If Tateno's wisdom held true, the syndicate must have some reason for what it was doing. Were they just trying to throw the investigators off their scent? No, that couldn't be it. They were wandering in circles, staying right in the same area. They were just running up the clock. What if that's exactly what they were after, buying time? Kano felt a sudden conviction that he was on the right track. But they needed more time to make sure they got their hands on the ransom payment. Wait, hold on. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? The ransom money wasn't even in the case anymore. But we've been watching the case, right?
I guess they had to create a time where we lost it. Yeah, maybe the money was
Could it be that the ransom money wasn't even in the case anymore? I've got it! Sasayama perked up. Got what? Each time these crooks hand off like the case, they sneak out a bundle of 1,000,000 yen. They keep doing that, and eventually the case itself is empty. Of course, that's how they've been playing us. Kano and Sasayama exchanged a look. How many people would need to make the switch for them to get all the money, Sasayama asked. 50 million yen divided by 1 million. That makes 5 people. That's it then. No, wait. 50 people. That many? That can't be the deal then, Osama said. Guess not. They both signed musing. The man with the attaché case made his way back to the Shibuya station. The heck? Osama grumbled. It's right back where we started. Kano felt his frustration growing. It honestly looked like the syndicate was just randomly lugging the case around town. Near Shibuya station, the girl approached the suspect. She was Japanese. Huh? Oh yeah. She was Japanese and entirely unlike any of the other criminal accomplices. She spoke to the man while showing him something on a notepad. He glanced at the notepad but did not slow down. Within moments, he had left her behind. It looked like she just passed him a message. Well, that sure is fishy, Sasayama muttered. What? The girl? Asked Kano. Yeah, wanna go hit her up? Sasayama could only mean one thing, questioning her. I don't think she's involved.
But maybe that's what we want. Maybe
You want to give her an interview. And then she won't be like sad face. Yeah, let's go see what she knows. Sasayama kind of hurried over to the girl. Excuse me, miss, we'd like to ask you a few. Are you happy with your life? The young woman shouted. She thrust her notepad in Kano's face. Tell me this, are you happy with your life right now? Huh? Looking at the notepad, Kano saw the same question written there in big bold letters. The girl's eyes widened in surprise, as if she hadn't expected the two men to actually stop and listen. Right now, sir, she continued more quietly. Are you happy? If so, if you could please take the survey about about your life. Are you happy with it? The more she spoke, the more flustered she became. Sasama stepped in. Hey, I need to know. Did you speak with that Western fellow just now? Huh? No, that's not what I'm asking. Sir, are you happy with your life right now? Are you happy with your life right now? Kano got a sinking feeling in his stomach. This kid was looking for religious converts or something. You did speak with him, didn't you? Sasama snapped. What did you tell him? The girl's rambling abruptly ceased. Her already ruddy face went even redder, and tears welled up in her eyes. Poor kid, Kano thought. She's just out here trying to get people to listen to her survey questions. There's no way she's part of this kidnapping plot. Look, miss, he said, for a time being, it would be a good idea for you to leave the area. Afraid I'm not at liberty to explain. The girl's only response was to start sobbing outright. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home. Kano and Sasama exchanged awkward glances. I want to go home. I want to go home. Passers-by began shooting curious looks at the trio. Kano, you get back to work, Sasama said. I'll escort this girl back to the train station. He didn't quite manage to stifle the embarrassment in his voice. Right, Kano said. He hurried away, his eyes already searching for the suspect they'd been tailing. It didn't take long to find him. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all of the criminals who'd handled the Tachi case had been wearing this. Well, there's a chance that because what's his name is escorting her, she might actually get an interview with him now. Because like when she was on the phone, she was like complaining how no one was gonna talk to her. But here we did, but then we just yelled at her. But it occurred to Kano that all the criminals who'd handled the Tachi case had been wearing the same black clothing. That fact made the whole situation even weirder. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were all wearing the same eye-catching outfit? It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them. That still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after though. The longer Kano kept tailing these guys, the less it all made sense. Was it really such a good idea to keep this up? Someone's life was in danger, and they were just letting the kidnappers carry out their plan, whatever it was. The very first page of the Dick Diary spelled things loud and clear on that front. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Right now, the single most important thing was ensuring the hostage's safety. This was a situation where Tateno would have stuck to his guns, for sure. Kano thought back to that day 3 years ago. What? A burglar had shut himself inside a financial office and doused the place in gasoline. Kano had just been put on police box duty. Nobody assigned to detective posts right after graduating. Detective positions can be quite hard to come by. Candidates are selected for detective training only after accumulating enough experience working at the local police box, a very small type of neighborhood station manned by only a handful of officers. Oh, little box. Several officers had surrounded the building, keeping close tabs on the situation. The suspect was shouting nonsense through the entrance on the first floor. Things were getting heated. A crowd of alarmed onlookers had started to form as well. Step aside, a voice said suddenly from amidst the throng. A middle-aged man in a rumpled business suit had approached Kano as he hovered nervously at the edge of the scene. I'm sorry, sir, Kano said. You have to stay back for your own safety. He attempted to usher the man back into the crowd. A no-nonsense look crossed the newcomer's face. He spoke in a low voice. I'm Detective Tateno from the Shibuya precinct. What's the situation? Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course. Kano stammered and quickly explained. He hasn't taken anyone hostage, but there are still people on the upper floors of the building. Giving only a slight nod, Tateno marched straight up to the building. The plastic container of gasoline the suspect had used was on the ground up front. Tateno picked it up and dumped the remaining contents out over his head. Tateno was at a loss for words. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. I've covered myself in gasoline too, Takano called out from the entryway. The tension in the air ratcheted itself up several notches. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Kano heard the burglar shouting from inside. If you're gonna do it, Tatano called out. We can die together. And he walked into the building. All Kano could do was watch things unfold through the plate glass window. Tatano was talking to the burglar, but Kano couldn't make out the words. The crook was clutching a lighter, his hand trembling. His expression was like that of a frightened child. Tatano slowly approached him and took firm hold of his shaking hand. The onlookers erupted into cheers and applause. Tatano handed the now docile suspect over to the detectives, then wearily sat down against the planter out front. It was like something ripped straight out of a police drama. That was amazing, Kano breathed. You have to deal with guys like that as quickly as you can. You let a situation like this get even a little out of hand, and you never know how things might go south on you. Tatano spoke quietly, almost as if he were talking to himself. As the police evacuated the rest of the building, he kind of noticed that there were children and elderly people among them. If the perp had managed to set the fire, there was no way they would have escaped in time. But I mean, what if he'd actually set the place on fire? If someone's willing to risk their life, you're not going to convince them of anything unless you do the same. Kano still remembered that all he felt at Tatano's matter-of-fact tone. Kano hadn't become a police officer out of any real sense of duty. He just thought it would make Rumi happy and became a detective like her father. Besides, civil servants had to stay afloat in times of recession, and his time playing rugby meant he was in good physical shape for the job. He'd never really thought too much about protecting the citizenry or keeping the peace, but here he was, in the presence of a detective who literally risked his life in the line of duty without a second thought. A police officer never loses sight of what he's supposed to protect, ever. Getting back to his feet, Tatano tugged off his gasoline-drenched coat and walked away. Cute chirpy. Kano wrote the words in a notebook he just purchased. Thus, the Dick Diary was born. Thus, thinking back to the way Tatano had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers made Kano feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks just wander around wasn't going to bring Maria Osawa to safety. Of that, Kano was now certain. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. He uttered the fundamental dictum out loud. Well, you lost sight of it completely, a voice said out of nowhere. What? Kano spun around. It was Shizuo. Rumi was with him. Sir? Kano stuttered. Weren't you supposed to be waiting at the cafe for? There was some lowlife there, so we left. Rumi's dad looked plenty mean under ordinary circumstances. Right now, he looked like a man possessed. Okay, we shouldn't have given up. Beg your pardon. I'm still on duty at the moment. I'm going back home, Shizuo huffed. You're not marrying my daughter. He turned to walk away. No, please, just wait. I'm done waiting. Now I'm going home. Please, don't do this. Just hear me out. I've heard all I need to hear from you. Rumi, we're leaving. Dad, please. Goodbye. Seizing his daughter by the hand, Shizuo stormed off without another word, dragging her behind. Shinya! She called out over her shoulder. Rumi. She was gone. Rumi was gone. Kano desperately wanted to go after her, but he hesitated in agony of indecision. I can't turn my back on my responsibilities. I'm a detective. My work has to be my first priority. Going after Rumi isn't what a good detective would do. Oh, Dr. Tateno, what should I do? Tateno, Still the dictum echoed in his mind. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Dead end? Okay, we gotta stop. Oh, wait, what? 6 months later. Definitely bad end. Anyways. 6 months later, Kano made his way through a small corner of a vast field in the Nagano countryside. Slowly and leisurely, he tilled the soil. He'd surprise himself with his own newfound enthusiasm for organic farming, learning more from Shizuo day after day. Wait, what? What? He actually married them, but then became like a farmer?
What?
His father-in-law had taught him the ways of farming from the ground up, and while things had been rocky between them at first, their friendship was now growing strong. Pausing to wipe his brow, he smiled at the acreage around him. He looked forward to tending the crops he'd sown until harvest came around. If he'd stayed on as a detective, he might well never have known the joy he now found in his work. These carrots.
He's scared.
And this wasn't the only seed Kano had planted. By the time harvest season came around, the new life growing within his dear Rumi's belly would be ready to celebrate it with them.
This is 6 months later. They got married and then now had a kid.
Wait, that doesn't... Okay, so she was already pregnant. Okay. It's a bad end to get married and become a farmer, obviously.
A bad end.
Okay,
Sounds
well,
like a pretty good end
we
for
gotta...
him.
Yeah, but I guess we never know what happened to him as a detective. But we gotta stop a dude from, like, being annoying. Wait, I can't? Wait, we can't stop it. Oh no, we can. We just gotta go to the time chart. There we go. No, this one. Lol. Alright, we're gonna focus on our article. No, he reminded himself that he needed to finish his article. Besides, if this young lady looked anything like her father, he'd just as soon pass. Minorikawa went back to his typing. It took a few minutes to reestablish his writing groove, with the two still bickering across the room. But thankfully, he soon regained his focus. Hey, beeping time.
Okay, now ignore the peeping.
What's that? His hands went still, as a strange noise intruded on his reverie. Whatever it was close by. What in the world is that sound? We shall focus. Oops. Focus. Focus. We want to see if, like, girl gets her interviews now, actually. He lost his proposal.
Yeah.
I wonder if we need to find it. Why does his cell phone sound like an old phone? Oh no, she's still... Okay. Oh no! Okay, so we gotta...
Something else?
We have to ignore her then? But there's no one gonna talk to her though.
Can we like skip the rest of this?
I don't think it lets me. Oops. I guess technically it skips. Is this it? Shoot, it's bleeding pretty bad, he heard someone say behind him. He turned and saw two young men carrying another along. There was a towel wrapped tightly around the third's head. Hey, what happened? Kano asked. Shut your mouth, Kano blanched. Candy attitude, he's trying to help, another voice cut in. It was Sasayama. Had he finished dealing with the girl by the station then? What happened to your friend? Out of my way, man. I ain't afraid to kick your ass. Look, cut the crap and let me take a look. Sasayama unwrapped the towel from around the young man's head. Ooh, that's nasty. The young guy was a little more than a kid. His head was soaked red with blood. He appeared to be unconscious. We should probably leave him, but what happened to him? Was this Achi? No, right? Achi didn't do anything.
He's leaving. You move a job. They can just take him to a hospital.
So, they were in the middle of a job, but they couldn't just leave him like this. They should probably take him to a hospital. Kano offered to help carry the bloodied young man, but Sasayama stepped in front of him. He quickly flashed the two youths his badge. Oh crap, you a cop? Sasayama nodded. Who you kids with? Bamfs? Shibuya's number 2 gang. Its leader, Sohei Ikari, has gathered up some big mean dudes in an attempt to make Shibuya his turf. The gang's leadership is inferior to that of SOS, but on an individual level, its members tend to be stronger in a fight. Word is that the rise of the Bamfs is one of the reasons SOS has been growing more combative recently. The Bamfs, SOS, admitted one of the young men after some hesitation. Who attacked you? Yo, it ain't like that. What was it like then? Infighting? The young man was silent, but Sayama must have been right on the mark. In the course of his police duties, Kano picked up a fair amount of street gossip from the young people in Shibuya. Lately, the scuttlebutt about the legendary SOS gang was that they were dealing with some internal strife. Look, don't worry about it. I get it. There's a hospital just down that way. Hurry up and get him there. The young man batted off Sasayama's offered hand and quickly hauled his friend away. Sounds like SOS is on the verge of breaking up with all this infighting, huh? Kano asked. He kept his eyes on the young men as they headed off. Yeah, seems like it's been pretty rough. You know, what with the original leader leaving and all. The detectives in juvenile affairs were well acquainted with SOS's original leader. The stories were like something out of some after-school special. There were tales of them taking down gangs who sold drugs to kids, or breaking into Yakuza front offices to save their friends. The detectives with juvenile affairs took these stories with a grain of salt. What if there really were young people like that out there? Kind of hope to meet them someday. The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry. They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian overpass and circled back around. Still following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How'd things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. I managed to calm her down and get her on the train. She was going on about how she wanted to go someplace far, far away, but whatever, it's all good now. I feel kind of bad about the whole thing, Kano said. Well, she's not pertinent to the case anyhow. Guess it's back to dog this guy. Sasayama nodded toward the suspect, looking none too pleased. So, Sasayama, I'm thinking the Itachi case is going to get handed off again any moment now. Huh? Sasayama appeared at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he just entered, apparently looking for someone. I take one side, you take the other, Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide. Say what now? That way we apprehend both perps involved with the handoff. Sasayama didn't reply. Look, HQ isn't thinking about the hostage's safety, Kano said, but that needs to take priority here. Sasayama's face took on a rare solemnity. Disobeying a direct order is not something to do lightly. Oh. Then after a moment he added, but I'm on board. I'm sick of all this wandering around anyway. That's the Sasayama I know, Kano replied with a chuckle. Sasayama gave him a silent thumbs up. Noisy thumbs up. Why is the phone ringing? The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. You ready? He asked. Just give the word. There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And then, well, if it isn't Mr. Toyama. Kano's ears perked up at the sound of an aggressive greeting. The voice dripped with chained fear. Faint cheer. He whirled around to see two rough-looking young men confronting a father and his daughter. The older man looked pained. Please, just hold on, he said placatingly. I thought we agreed on 4 o'clock. The young man snarled. Don't you try and play dumb with us, buddy. It's nothing like that, I swear. My girl was just hungry, so I stepped out too. Yeah? How come you didn't just order delivery, huh? Ah, yes, right. I suppose that would work too. Ahaha. Don't you ahaha me, man! Kano watched the argument uneasily. The stranger's altercation put him in a bit of a spot. The crook he was tailing probably wouldn't risk handing off the case with an uproar like this going on. What's going on over there, Sasayama? Something asked. I'm not sure, Kano replied. Looks like some kind of argument. The suspects are gonna get wary of us. It's gonna screw up the whole handoff. Yeah, I know. So do something about it and get over here, Sasayama said. What? Find some way to shut them up and then get over here. Oh, sure, alright. Kano headed toward the argument. He was only halfway there when Sasayama called again. He sounded panicked. Hey, Kano! He made a run for it! Huh? Oh, crap! The man they'd been tailing had vanished in the brief time Kano had taken his eyes off of him. Wait up! Kano shouted. Sasayama was racing after the suspect and Kano rushed to join him. The man was surprisingly quick, however, and neither detective managed to catch up. In fact, they soon lost sight of him amidst the fleeing crowd. Frantically, they dashed through the streets as fast and as hard as they could. Oh no! We lost him, Sasayama admitted at last. Damn it! Oh no, he stamped his foot on the asphalt in disgust. Dr. Kuze? Kano gasped over the wireless. I'm sorry, but we lost the man with the Atachi case. There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. Kano braced himself. He wasn't going to be able to weasel out of this one with just an I'll do better next time. Sasayama, Kano, get your asses back to the precinct. Kuze out. With that, Kuze switched off the line. Oh no. Back to the precinct. Kano knew full well what that meant. They were off the case. There was a gnawing in his gut. If those two punks hadn't shown up, no, if that father and his daughter hadn't turned up, he might have been able to apprehend the suspect. So how do we stop them? I'm showing up. Oh, don't let it get you down, Sasayama said. I mean, paper pushing can be kind of fun. The look on his face, however, suggested he didn't think it was fun at all, not one bit. With the air of two men heading to an execution, Kano and Sasayama trudged back towards the Shibuya precinct. At and
Yeah, what is it? I think this is tied to Tama, because she bumped into the old man, right? Maybe we could have done something different.
wait, did she?
Yeah, remember we bumped into the old man when this
Yeah, true. Wait, what? Oh, so then we couldn't actually stop anything then, right?
What if it's gone?
What are our options?
Gone separately?
Yeah.
Are you going separately with the right?
Okay, let's see if this does anything. That makes me such a guy. Oh, she bumps again.
Oh.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, shit. Wait, how that? I just go back here.
and then you
I
can.
tried to look at like the
The
man
hint.
thing. The hint, yeah. Bump. It doesn't matter, I guess. Wait. Oh, what? Okay, so we couldn't find it. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, we can play Achi's story and see what goes on.
Hmm. Who's that?
Are you back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why?
no,
Why? Do you want to talk? Okay. We are Achi now. Run. Achi and Hitomi scampered through the back roads along Center Guy, white sneakers and pumps slapping on the pavement. Achi kept his eyes peeled, continually checking ahead and behind as they darted through the gaps between the buildings. Run. Finally, they stopped in a narrow alley. There's no way he'll find us here, he said. No one knows about this place. He took another look around, then let out a sigh of relief. It seemed they'd managed to shake the gunman for now. Back when Achi was with SOS, he had come through Sentai practically every day. The gang had started out as little more than a group of local teens. They didn't do much in particular, just horsing around and killing time. What mattered was that they were having fun. But it wasn't long before it wasn't all fun and games. Achi couldn't help but notice the slobs who were making a mess of Shibuya, dirtying it all up. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. Most frequently, it was folks who tossed cigarette butts out on the street or plastered walls and graffiti. When they didn't respond to his more gentle warnings, he found slightly more forceful ways of getting his point across. SOS got a reputation. Street punks started trying to pick fights with his members. Those guys required a bit more force to handle. And when it came to the worst of the lot, the drug dealers, the muggers, the guys who tried to force themselves on women, it was full-on battle, no holds barred. Before long, SOS had established itself as something of a vigilante corps. Soon, it became known as one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya. Let's lay low here for a bit and see what happens, Achi said. The alley where they hid was like a dimly lit chasm, obscuring them from view. The only problem now was figuring out what to do next. They needed to find that blue van again, which meant figuring out the best way to get back to Dogenzaka without the man with the cane catching them once more. Achi? Hitomi whispered. I think I can handle myself from here. She got to her feet and gave Achi a deep bow. Whoa, Achi held up a hand. We've been over this already. You're not gonna be okay. That guy has a gun. If he let her go up against that assassin alone, he might as well be the one to pull the trigger himself. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, Hitomi continued as if she hadn't heard him. She started to shuffle out of the alleyway. Hey, what did I just say? Really, Achi, I appreciate your concern, but I can't in good conscience put you in danger anymore. What I mean... Achi tried to press the point, but Hitomi cut him off. There's no good reason for you to risk yourself, to keep helping me. Her tone was resolute. But Achi was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. B, Achi knew she had a point. He decided to back off.
You can't back down.
Can't back down. Still, Achi was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. Look, I want to help people who are in trouble. What's so wrong about that? Huh? He locked eyes with Hitomi, willing her to understand. I'm not the most dependable guy, I know that. But still, Hitomi dropped her gaze, and Achi trailed off, feeling like an idiot. Oh, it's no use. I'm no use. He hung his head with a sigh. Just then, a
Uh-oh.
bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. It looked like someone on the adjacent building's
Someone you can
upper floor had
can
turned on the
jump.
lights. Why? The
Nokane.
Nokane building.
Oh.
I was being held. Jumped at someone. That Tama. This is it. Oh, we turn on the light to the creepy place. The creepy warehouse. We're back.
Wait, but
The
why
storeroom
did
door
you jump
opens
back?
with a rough grating sound. Okay, now where's the light switch? There's a cockroach. Now we're gonna fight the cockroach again. Eek. Oh my gosh. They animated that cockroach.
Yeah. Oh, what's the point? What's the point of jumping here?
I don't know. I don't want to challenge it.
No? You should get a bad end.
You think so?
I mean, why else would it ask you to come back here?
I mean, the fact that it asked me to come back here, I think it has something to do with their combat. I think.
Okay.
You want to fight it?
That's
I challenge it to a single combat. It flitters aloft. It's gunning for me, all right. Bracing myself, I step forward to confront it, which paradoxically helps calm my nerves. I get the sneaking suspicion that this isn't the first time I've done battle with one of these things. It's like I've trained myself to protect someone who's even more scared of them than I am. As I mull that over, the thing hovering in the air presses its attack against me. Now's my chance! I snatch up a nearby piece of cardboard and swat at the creature hard. It sails out of the window in a graceful arc and flitters away into the world beyond. Phew! At least we parted on mutually acceptable terms. I didn't have to squash it or blast it past the side. Hefting the box labeled Anagachi, I scurry away from the graveyard of schlock merchandise.
okay. I guess you win.
Phew, I made it. Does this matter? Okay. Did that do anything?
Go back. Go down. Oh, you gotta for that jump. Maybe they're trying to trick us.
The light illuminated Hitomi's face. When Ashi saw the look in her eyes, he reconsidered his decision. She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist, she would only refuse him again. Hitomi? Hear me for a second here. Tell me, what's the proper way to dispose of a plastic bottle? She stared at him in surprise. Well, first, you remove the cap and the wrapper. Then you rinse out the inside and crush it. Actually let out the breath you've been holding. Okay, good. Huh? I don't understand. What's good? What? You gave me my reason why I have to help you out. I super respect people who respect the environment. I'm one of those, whatchamacallits, an environmentalist. Achi pointed at his mean clean t-shirt. Hitomi hesitated. And what was your plan if I'd said the answer was to toss the plastic in with the trash? Well, then I'd need to stick with you to help teach you. Environmental awareness begins with good education. So then you were going to tag along with me regardless. Look, I'm just super pumped to learn that you care so much about proper recycling. Achi cracked a huge grin. Okay then. Okay? If you're really that sure about it, I guess I could use your help a little while longer. Hitomi flashed him a little smile. Man, she's so cute, Archie thought. Then something else caught his eye. Huh? What's that there? Oh, it's the cockroach. It flew on her head.
Oh,
That was clearly not the right thing. Archie, what are you staring at? Oh, you got something stuck there. What, on my head? Without thinking, Hitomi reached up and plucked it off.
Oh, shoot,
It was about
no.
10 centimeters long, its body a glistening black sporting feelers and several pairs of legs. It began to writhe and wriggle between Hitomi's
no.
slender fingers.
Oh my god.
Gah! Archie yelled, "It's a cockroach!" He jumped backwards, but Hitomi didn't so much as flinch. Phew, sorry. That gave me a bit of a start, he continued. Guess it must have fallen from one of the windows up there. Still, Hitomi did not move. Hitomi? She didn't appear to hear him. Hello? Hitomi? With muffled gurge, Hitomi passed out on the spot, her body as stiff as a mannequin. Wah! Hitomi, are you okay? Hitomi! 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 But no matter how loudly Achi called her name, Hitomi would not come to. She died from cockroach.
Heart attack. Oh no.
See, you shouldn't have fought the cockroach.
Well.
It's clearly a bad idea. Oh my god, back to picking up trash. From that day onward, Achi devoted even more of his time and energy to collecting trash. It became his personal passion to see that the city was a clean one, devoid of cockroaches. That was the mandate he had been handed, or if nothing else, his atonement.
Did that die?
From cockroach, yeah.
Cockroach.
Apparently she's like in the sky now. Rip. The cockroach.
Okay, well. I guess we have to go back and not fight the cockroach. That's the time. Who would have thought?
I actually thought that was gonna happen, though. You don't fight cockroaches. Okay, we did this, so that's good. As a moment is saved in a corner, it should be good, I think. There, we're good.
Yeah, now
We can move back.
jump.
There we go. No more cockroach. Okay, no more cockroach. Nice. Sneaking out from the alley, Achi and Hitomi began to make their way along the side streets back toward Dogenzaka. It was a pretty big detour compared to taking the main thoroughfares, but that would be worth it if it meant they avoided the man with the cane. Achi looked over at Hitomi as she walked alongside him. Her face was solemn. He could feel the intensity of her worry for her sister. Oh, well, 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 look who's got himself a little cutie. The sudden call startled him. He spun around. Yo, mean clean over here. Achi spotted a young man up ahead sneering at him.
What's that? We beat them up?
Oh, yeah. Was that good that we beat him up? I don't know, we'll find out. At his side were two others. Achi recognized a lot. SOS. He told me to let out a nervous squeak. Achi? Don't worry about them. He led her onward, attempting to stride right past the trio. Whoa, hey now, you just gonna ignore me? That's pretty damn rude, especially coming from someone who used to be an old buddy. The three toughs moved to bar Achi's path. Oh, she is hella fine. Hella fine means extremely attractive. The etymology of hella is somewhat unclear, but its meaning is undisputed, very, a lot of, totally, and the like. Potential synonyms for hella fine include mighty fine, fine as hell, and banging. Come on, ain't you gonna introduce us? Sorry, man, Achi said. I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He gave them a tech smile. A big hurry, huh? Where to? Some love hotel in Maruya Macho? Too rich, another chimed in. She a screamer, Achi? Achi? Take a stereotypical way to poke fun at a would-be amorous couple. Now take Achi's name. There you go. They burst out howling like a gang of monkeys. One of them cackled like a grinning idiot. Achi! 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 Achi felt his anger boil. These guys were blah blah blah. Let's see. If there was too much at stake, he was just going to suck it up and ignore them for the time being. Gritting his teeth, he tried to slip past them, but the largest of the three grabbed him by the collar. You ran out, man. Susumu's the one who runs this town now. You got no right to keep acting like you're the boss of us. He shoved Achi up against the wall. Says who? Achi asked. Susumu? Say what now? Did Susumu say I've got no right to act like the boss? Bitch, please. Susumu ain't got time to worry about your sorry ass. Ah, is that so? Oh, we beat him anyway. Achi's fist flashed out, catching the man clean on the jaw. He dropped to the ground with a dull thud. So tell Susumu this, everyone in Shibuya needs to just play nice and have fun. Achi kept his tone light and jovial, but he eyed the two other toughs like a hawk eyeing its prey. Is he going to be alright? He told me, murmured. She looked at the man Achi had laid out with some concern. Oh, he'll be fine. If that's all it took to knock him out, he's got no right to act all badass. Achi, huh? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. A taller man with an angry gleam in his eyes had appeared atop the steps nearby. He must have turned up during the commotion. He radiated a distinct aura of menace. That's me, Achi replied, and just who are you? For once, it was someone he didn't recognize. The name's Yoji Kiryu Kazuma. Used to roll with a gang from Ikebukuro until a few months ago, known as the Killer Whale of Bukuro. He answered any and all resistance with his fist. His crazy antics led to him being kicked out of the gang, however, and lately he's been hanging around Shibuya. I joined up with SOS after he left. Now I'm Susumi's number 2 guy. The newcomer stared at Achi's face, sizing him up. Our legendary founder, I've heard so much about you. The founder. It had been a long time since anyone had called him that. There had been a bunch of arguing over who would take charge of the new group that was forming to set things straight in Shibuya. At some point, folks had started hailing him as the force behind SOS. But founder, that was just something his buddies called him. He had never paid it much heed. Shibuya was a place for fun, not hierarchies. At least, in Achi's mind, that was how it ought to be. Like how you busted up some mean old drug dealers, rescued your pals from Yakuza bondage. Here, bondage is used strictly in the sense of captivity. Any other types of Yakuza bondage will not be featured in this game. Sorry if the tip link here got your hopes up. You're a real hero. Kiryu's tongue flicked from his mouth like a snake. He only shuddered. Achi couldn't blame her for being creeped out. But that's all in the past now, isn't it? Kiryu continued. You went modestly on your way. It's up to us now. And we've helped SOS grow by leaps and bounds to help carry in your legacy, no matter who stands in our way. That thought didn't sit right with Achi. If aggressive expansion was the name of the game was losing touch with its roots. It wasn't about keeping Shibuya safe and fun anymore. Make SOS bigger, huh? He said. I'm guessing that was Susumu's call as well? Kiryu didn't answer his question. His mouth merely twisted into a knowing sneer. In any event, I think these guys here need a little lesson in manners. The guillotine ought to do the trick. Guillotine. Okay, the other gang members started an alarm. Whoa, hey, just calm down, man. Please, anything but the guillotine. Kiryu pointedly ignored the plea. Whoa, hey, what's the guillotine? Achi asked. Kiryu smirked. The guillotine is the guillotine. Okay, great. With me, worms, without a glance back, Kiryu strolled away. His two underlings followed him unhappily. Achi wondered what lay in store for them, but right now, he had more important things to worry about. Come on, let's go. He told me by the hand, and they were back on their way.
That didn't matter.
I mean, maybe we could have beat him up more, and we chose not to, right? Oh, Hitomi perked up. That's me. She reached into her pocket and took out her cell phone. Huh? She stared at the screen with consternation. What is it? She asked. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Who's Mr. Tanaka? He works with my father. I am not sure what I should do. Achi remembered that the criminal had warned her against contacting her family or the police. She seemed reluctant to even open this message. I'm sure it's fine to just read an email, he said. Besides, he's not the police, and he's not your family. Yeah, you're right. Hitomi scanned the message anxiously. Sounds like he's worried about me, she said. Then does he know about the kidnapping? Yes, I know my father trusts him. And he's always been so... Hitomi cut herself short. Still, it was clear to Achi that she and this Tanaka person had some sort of close relationship. I wonder if it's safe for me to let him know what the situation is. I think it should be, Achi told her. I mean, the kidnappers aren't gonna know you sent an email, right? Hitomi began typing out a response. Achi watched over her, wild speculations running through his mind. There was no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, was there?
Ah, I see.
We broke the keep out.
It was the email from,
Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Hitomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. Kidnapper warned me. Told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. But didn't Hitomi give the kidnapper the ransom? Osawa said. What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. He wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they got after Hitomi? I suppose you're right, but Osawa was shaking up right now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down. Let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. Also, why is their toilet roll like neatly folded? So weird. The person never used the washroom.
lied.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Otherwise
he
you
told
would.
ya.
After you use the washroom,
Maybe
you.
he's never white.
Okay. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. Daisuke and Maria, the vice director continued directly. Maybe he put a bug down there and it's listening to the. No, jealousy tossed in there, along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now they're after Hitomi. His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? Grudge? Osawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time in school to have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that I knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became head of a laboratory, he suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Osawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he got from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Okoshi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind. Possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over him. But the only other person who knew about the potential transfer right now was his wife, Ai. No, Osawa said, nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss this transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. If he did make the move to America, he planned to recommend that Tanaka replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. Alright, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or the police, but Tanaka was outside of that circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. I'm sorry to have to put this on you, Osawa said. And thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted it out without thinking. Why do you have my daughter's contact information on your phone? Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once all this is over. And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom. Something in the tone of his final words left Osawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? He hoped dearly for that not to be the case. Their age difference alone made that idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. Tanaka is 40 and Hitomi is 19. This doesn't mean that they can't date or fall for each other. Yeah, okay. Trying to put that quite aside his paranoia, Osawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilet. Oh goodness! Oh my god, this guy is so creepy. Kajiwara reappeared, still toting the bucket. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. You made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Really? I think the research you do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets gives me far more trouble, I'd say. So it seemed. Kajiwara stood watching, as if Osawa's efforts made an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unclogging toilets to be that difficult. Oh yeah, Osawa snapped? And how about you fix the damn thing? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure you don't mind? Detective asked. Be my goddamn guest. Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hand. What? What just happened? Oh, we left. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study. Did we wash our hands though? That's gross.
Yeah, especially for someone who studies viruses.
Yeah. Tons of gross bacteria right now. He turned on the CD player and lay back on his sofa, squeezing his eyes I'm cold shut because the AC is really strong right now. I'm munching. I haven't eaten these in years. These pineapple cakes, they probably don't last forever, man. Okay. I mean, they last till next year, but anyway. They last you till April 2019. So it does last pretty long. But you're not uncomfortable. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. Knock knock. What now? The door to study slid slowly open. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking to bring gloves. My apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right, fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little piece. Oh my, is that really all you have to say, sir? Maybe a compliment or encouraging word? Maybe a good job, Kajiwara? Or a you're getting a promotion, detective? Osawa blew out his breath in exasperation. How? How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask your superiors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at the victim's home. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had on our police social media service, Foxy. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on obliviously, but this summer, a new detective manga is starting up based on me. The fabled detective Kaji. Kaji howls at the sun. Kaji rides the rails. Kaji at daybreak. Detective Kajak. Kaji, queen of the street. What? Look out, Kaji. Kaji on the edge. Dance, Kaji, dance. Space Detective Kaji, and so forth, and so on. Osawa spat out a peal of feigned laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? I would not. It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits and his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir. Oh shit, I'm scared. He's so creepy, dude. Dude, is he the guy behind the whole, like...
He's actually like mastermind.
Yo, he, like, they're there to, like, arrest him for, like, the law thing, right? I don't know. I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop. His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. With his gross hand. Hey, Osawa barked. Don't touch that! But it was too late to stop the detective. The monitor showed the page for AyaNet, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision grow fuzzy. You come to this fight regularly, sir? Regularly? Ah, well, I'm not sure I'd, Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush glare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the clear screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. Alright, Osawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. It's incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now would you please get the hell out or please leave me alone? Now would you please get the hell out of my room? Detective ushered him out the door. Alright, sir. The detective said, alright, I understand. I'll leave. But for that, Kajiwara slipped his hand into his pocket. I don't need a damn banana! It's not that, Mr. Osawa. I have something that I think may be important to you. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag.
It looks like a boarding pass.
Huh? That's... The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. Who's Kenji?
Who's Kenji Osawa?
In the plastic bag was a plane ticket, specifically the one for his upcoming flight to the U.S. the following week.
Is his name Kenji?
I guess so. But also, why is it in the toilet? Also, how does that clog the toilet?
You have a really shitty toilet.
He left it out on his desk. How had it wound up being flushed down the toilet?
Spooky.
This looks like it's pretty important, sir, Kajiwa said. I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although, the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Osawa was at a loss for more words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it. Tanaka. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gone back home yet. Osawa let himself in. The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Why did he marry her, though? Clothes were strewn all about, as if to put her slovenliness on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It must have been I who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the damn toilet, fighting with the plunger. Osawa... Also, that ticket was like in pretty pristine condition, despite or like clogged or whatever. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand name clothing. Then he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had I picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to her bed. He started out of the room, but then he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. Suddenly Kajiwara came barging into the room. "Mr. Osawa," he cried out. "It's your wife. She's gone completely hysterical." "She's what?" "Please follow me." Kajiwara led Osawa to the cafe where I had gone. The instant he opened the door, Osawa's ears were assaulted by a veritable whirlwind of verbal fury. "What the hell are you doing? Hurry up and arrest this man!" The grating, histrionic voice was none other than Ai's. "Man, please," begged the officer who was verbally assaulted. "I just need you to come with me for a while so I can ask you a few questions on the situation." The officer looked nearly on the verge of tears. A strange man, not to be outdone by Ai's shouting, added his own voice to the chorus. "Hurry up and find that listening device. She's got one on her, I'm sure of it." "Oh, shut up. Please, shut up." He'd only just stepped in through the door and already Osawa wants to run away. The cafe was almost deserted. Probably the rest of the clientele had been driven off. What few customers remained were rooted to the seats, apparently afraid of getting caught up in the mayhem themselves. "How dare you call yourself a police officer?" I harped. "This is dereliction of duty is what it is. Ma'am, please." The officer was in tears now. "To think that good taxpayer money pays your salary. Ma'am, please." "Reporting a conversation without consent is a pretty serious crime," the other man railed. "Not cracking down on that. That's dereliction of duty." "Sir, please." "You know what? Fine. I'll find the bug myself. Sir, please!" The policeman screamed again as the man advanced towards Ai, holding out some kind of punch, but Ai recoiled. "Stop that at once. Don't you dare touch my belongings." "Aha, so you do have something to hide." Alright. Kajiwara interposed himself between Ai and the strange ring. "Oh, not you," I groaned. Why don't you mind your own business and get the hell out of here?" "Yeah," the man agreed. "Mind your own business." Oh, don't you mind me, Kajiwara replied. Ma'am, your husband is here. He gestured at Osawa. Osawa hadn't expected to be put on the spot. He stood frozen, speechless. Now what? I snarled. What do you want? Nothing in particular. Osawa began to back away on reflex, but I pointed on him. That's how it always is with you, she shrieked. You never care one whit what I do you? And you know what? That's fine. But it wouldn't kill you to show little concern when I'm under attack like this. You're her husband? The strange man demanded. Look, someone's planted a bug on your wife. Did she be caught up in something big? Tell me! Why are they all coming at me now? Sir, please, the officer turned to Osawa. I just want to hear your wife's side of the story. Now I'm afraid I'll have to ask all of you to accompany me back to the station. Osawa felt like he was standing in the eye of a hurricane that was rolling faster and faster. Are you even listening? Are you hearing us all right, man? Everybody, please! Osawa simply stood, paralyzed and scared, as the storm of fury raged on, and no matter how hard he wished for some escape, the storm showed no signs of passing him by. I want to go home. I never should have come here. Why? Why did any of this happen?
I thought we didn't approach.
No, we didn't.
Uh,
Let's go back and see what happened. Do you do something here?
Oh, we decided not to.
Oh, what?
Oh,
What's she doing here?
Because
Oh, because they split up.
Split up, yeah. Oh,
Alright.
interesting. Okay.
What? Upon looking up in confusion, there's a typo here. He found his attention drawn to a young woman at another table, and then one of these, and one of these. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and this, and that too. She finished with a broad grin. Let me just repeat your order back to you. 1 Japanese-style beef patty, 1 spicy fish roll spaghetti, 1 chicken casserole, 1 French onion soup, 1 fruit parfait, 1 chocolate parfait, and 1 deluxe chocolate parfait. Will that be all? The waitress anxiously waited confirmation. The waitress is Ryoko Kakinuma, second year at Midoriyama Law School. She was hassled by a pair of hustlers on her way to work and showed up 5 minutes late for her shift. The manager told her that those 5 minutes were coming out of her pay, so she's a bit irritated right now. You forgot the large caramel shake. The customer was a full-figured young woman ensconced at a nearby table. Oh, my apologies. The waitress quickly jotted down the addition to the order. That'll do it for now, the young woman said. For now? Yikes. She's actually planning on ordering more after that, marveling at this display of appetite. Minorikawa went back to typing. Wait, so that's bad because oh, no. We do notice. Oh, now what? You heard a strange beeping sound again. Slightly different than the first time, and this time it was closer. Seriously, what the heck is that?
Because if we get to the bottom of it, we'll find high and
But then it's different now because this girl is here. Anyways, I will see. Okay, let's see. Okay, this happened. The plump young woman set about devouring all the food she'd ordered despite the strange looks she was getting. Now that was an appetite to be reckoned with. It took her under 3 minutes to polish off the lot. Then, looking not the least bit sated, she picked the menu right back up. Was she seriously going to order more? Minoikawa was starting to take an interest in this young lady. There might be a story here. He conjured up a series of headlines in his mind. Woman inhales 30,000 calories in 3 minutes. Is it the equivalent of 100 pieces of shortcake, 300 glasses of milk, or enough steak and rice to feed about 30 people? No, he needed something with more punch. Food for thought, an expose on obesity. No, that was no good. He wasn't writing for a fashion mag here. A gourmet day in Shinjuku. What? That was it. He'd be able to whip something up if he went with the foodie angle. Minorikawa got off his seat. That's pretty impressive, he said to the hungry diner. Do you always eat that much? The young woman glared back at him. Not always, she said. Sudden tension filled the air. Oops, was that way too blunt of me? I mean, she is a young lady after all. Maybe I should change up my approach. Who the heck are you anyway? The woman asked. I'm a freelancer writer. I was hoping I could do an interview with you real quick. You want to interview me? The suspicion was plain on her face. I do. I mean, girls all over the world worry about their diets, right? I hear that, yeah. So would you be willing to share your secret or your technique or whatever for how to eat without getting fat? What, me? Sure. I mean, look at the figure you're maintaining despite eating all this food. The young woman's expression brightened up. Oh, you noticed? There's actually a lot that goes into all of this. Yeah? The basic thing, though, is to eat 10 meals a day. Minorikawa struggled to keep his jaw from dropping. 10 meals a day? She flashed him a chuggy cheek grin. Hey, you don't know how diets work, do ya? She chuckled. Eating 1 or 2 meals a day, that's what'll make you fat. You gotta space your food out into smaller portions throughout the day. That's the fundamentals of dieting right there. Right, but what happened to the smaller portions part? Minorikawa had to bite his tongue. I see, he said. Any other pro-dieting tips you could share? Well, for the basics, I'd say always drink protein instead of tea, yeah? Drink protein all day? Seriously? Once again, it took all of Minorikawa's willpower to keep his thoughts to himself. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's this stuff called Burning Hammer too, but she trailed off with a little wince. Wait, Minorikawa perked up. Did you say Burning Hammer? Oh, you know it? I've heard of it anyway, Minorikawa replied. He decided he was better off keeping his plans to head to the sales demo secret. There's a sales demo later on if you're interested, the woman said as if she were reading his thoughts. Though, full disclosure, I am working for them right now. She handed Minorikawa an advertising pamphlet. There was more detailed map for the venue included. What a stroke of luck! Now he didn't have to rely on the crummy map in the project proposal anymore. He'd have no trouble finding the venue, with the building's various floors all broken down for him. And actually, I gotta get back to work, the woman said. Sure, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to hang back and finish my coffee here. The woman left the cafe, and Minorikawa went back to his laptop. That was good. Yeah. He'd gotten some new info on the Burning Hammer sales demo, but he'd also lost some more time. The surveillance camera piece still wasn't finished. It was going to be a near thing to get it done before the sales demo started. Instead of returning to his writing, he got out his cell phone. What if Toyama had gotten another one of his crazy ideas? If he tried to hang himself again, the thought had Minorikawa too worried to work on his copy. The phone rang several times before someone picked up. Mr. Toyama, where are you right now? Minorikawa asked. Right now? I'm on the run, somewhere near Shoto. Toyama was speaking in an oddly hushed tone. Shoto? After you left the office, some guys came to collect my debt, so I made a run for it. Okay, so he wasn't dead, but the situation was still pretty bad. Look, we'll get you through this somehow, Minorikawa said, hoping it was true. Yeah, he doesn't run into people then. You need to get back to the office ASAP. The office? But they'll find me there for sure. Toyama's voice was a little more than a pathetic whimper. It's a little bit of reverse psychology. The last place that collectors are gonna think you went is back to the office, right? Ah, I see, Toyama said. He sounded impressed by the suggestion. For now, just stay hidden until I can get these articles finished. Alright, Toyama said weakly. He hung up. Minorikawa let out a deep sigh, then turned back to his laptop. Yay! Changed the timeline.
Yeah, we changed.
So what exactly? So we made it so that.
Unblock him. Then unblock.
Mhm.
That was
Cool.
good. That was good. Good job.
He knocked on the door. He's at home, so we went to her room.
Lighter.
Gold cigarette lighter. I should pick up smoking.
See a scrapbook.
M for Maria? I don't know.
Wonder.
Oh,
don't think
M for. I don't know. For me. We didn't get to read it.
Yeah, now we're reading.
Yeah. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director.
Yeah, there was.
Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. He talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of pearl rubbish. Any marriage involves some kind of calculated self-interest after all. Whatever the reasons for their union, nothing changed the fact that Ai was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Maybe she's with Tanaka.
Maybe.
I don't know, I'm just imagining there's like a whole conspiracy going on here.
I'm sure there is.
Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through a CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamiki's album For Tomorrow Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there had been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CD at the moment as birthday presents for his 2 girls, and that had just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. He told me he was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. The next day, she'd tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh? He muttered. For Tomorrow
Oh no.
should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered it was at the lab. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Damn it. Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. And just open YouTube. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went into Hitomi's room. There, he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under the circumstances, he knew that what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find a CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Ayakamiki CDs in the rack at all. Amadeus. Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in her room. Osawa jumped at the sound of a cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. "I'm out front." That was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tidying up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty and all this too. We need to keep this a secret, just between us. It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? It was the only way. Muttering to nobody in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. Oh my god, spooky! Who did he do it to? Who did it? I mean, who
did it?
No. Who got it? Who got the shot? So, I guess we could go to Achi as we jump and continue. Father! Excuse me. Hitomi began typing out a response. Achi watched over her. Oh my god, don't be dating Tanaka. Unless she was all about finding herself a sugar daddy. No, he was being ridiculous. Achi banished the thought from his mind. Besides, Hitomi's personal life wasn't the problem right now. The problem was that psycho with the cane and the gun. Is something wrong? Hitomi asked. She finished sending her email. Oh no, nothing. Nothing at all. Achi did his best to look nonchalant. It was a good thing she couldn't read his mind. They exited Center Guy and resumed their approach toward Okazaka by way of Maruyama-cho. Maruyama-cho Hotel, where so inclined Mike redacted. Another long detour to decrease their odds of running into the gunman. They made an unlikely pair. Scruffy, Achi, limbs lackadaisically swinging to hide his embarrassment, and brisk, purposeful Hitomi. Achi found himself watching her out of the corner of his eye. He could still feel her anxiety. He wished there was some way to keep her fear. Hey Hitomi, mind if I ask you something? Sure, go on. Okay, so I realize this might be kind of a weird question, but Put on a serious face. What does the eco-friendly mean? Huh? Like, I know it's about helping the earth and all, but I don't know what it really means, you know? Let me talk for a moment. I'm pretty sure it's short for the English word ecology. Blah 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 blah. Which is the science of examining the relationship between man and nature. Oh right, science! Using himself, Ashley chattered on steadily. A faint smile crept back onto his own face. Say, you ever hear about the clean river here in Shibuya? Clean river in Shibuya, really? Ask 100 youngsters outside of Shibuya station the same question, and you probably get the same answer 100 times. Yeah, the Shibuya River. You know, that green channel we saw earlier. Wait, that's the clean river you're talking about? By no reasonable definition was the Shibuya River what anyone would call clean. That's the one, as she grinned at her confusion. See, the river used to be clean a long time ago. I read about it in this old book called Science Strikes Back. SSB. What? The woman who handles the home deliveries is known as SSB lady. And children wait excitedly on the 25th of each month for her to make the rounds. I used to have that book, she told me, chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. You're talking about that bit with the river that got turned into a song, right? How do you know Ogawa, the spring brook, inspired the view of the upper course of the Shibuya River during the time of childhood? Something about stone monuments. Yeah, that's the one. You read it too? I did! Actually felt a giddy rush at this unexpected connection they shared. Imagine if there was still a clean, beautiful river here in Shibuya. It'd be the perfect place for taking a romantic stroll. Hitomi looked up at Achi. He seemed to share his joy in this idea. Wouldn't it be amazing, Achi said, if that dirty little channel could be clean like it used to be? It would! Maybe as amazing as the look on Hitomi's face right now, Achi thought. Hitomi, tell me some more ecology stuff. Hit me with whatever you've got. She seemed happy to oblige, and so as they walked along, Hitomi explained the bits of knowledge she picked up over the years. Achi was quiet, hanging on her every word. Their return to Dogensaka became an impromptu environmentalist lecture. Hitomi continued until she'd exhausted her ready knowledge. I just don't get it, Achi grumbled when she paused and laughed. I mean, why is it a bad thing if the planet gets warmer? Wouldn't that make winter in places like Hokkaido way easier? No, you see, because if the whole planet gets warmer, it'll cause the whole ecosystem to collapse. Achi racked his brain. And the ecosystem is what again? Is that like a solar system? Images of the cosmos filled his imagination. No, not really, Hitomi said. So is it more like a sound system then? Not really. Oh, but anyway, you're saying the problem is with the what was it again? Carbon dioxide. Yeah, that stuff. I'm going to have to cut down on that. Sure. That settles it. She declared proudly. No more soda for me. Soda? Yeah, it's carbonated, right? Hitomi burst out laughing. What? I'm serious. You don't think you can do it? I'm sorry. Hitomi said, tapping her breast chest. Her face froze, her mirth abruptly vanishing. Oh no. Huh? Achi stared at her face in alarm. What is it? He turned his attention in a direction Hitomi was looking. The man with the cane was bearing down on them. Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all their earlier running. You can do it, he told her. The guy's got a gun. A cane, and a gun. We can outrun him. The assassin was still hurrying after them. Once we get around the next corner, we'll be out on the main road. Yeah, okay. She strained to get the words out. Little bit, her feet were slowing down. It was another 50 meters or so to the main road. Ashi realized that they might get caught, but it got there. Sorry, he told me, he explained, but I gotta do this. Scooped her up in his arms. Eve! By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Ashi was already running full out. Achi, please put me down. Don't worry, you're super light. Achi glanced back and saw the assassin, now far behind, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner, he heard the man call to him. What? Achi almost stopped on reflex. Hold on, did he just shout my name? How the heck does he know my name? Quick move on knees, Achi slipped into the crowd.
Maybe he's trying to help us.
I guess if he wanted to shoot, he probably would have done that.
He could have shot us already.
Like, many times, right? Achi, could you please set me down now? A meek voice pulled him from his panic. Huh? He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd all around them were watching and chuckling. I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all, but being carried around like this is, Tomi was blushing beet red, but Achi's expression had gone pale. Achi, wait! Had he really heard that right? That's what it sounded like. He said he told me back on her feet, then used his shirt sleeve to wipe the sweat from his face. You okay? He told me yes. When we were running just now, did that guy say anything? Not that I heard, no. Huh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe. Achi was sure he didn't recognize the man. There's something weird about that guy though, Tomi murmured. She furrowed her brow. No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. It's almost like he knows where we're going. She was right. Finding a particular pair of people in a place as big as Shibuya bordered on the impossible, and yet somehow the assassin had tracked him down several times now. Yeah, Achi said. It's like he's got some way of locating us or something. He got us an idea. That's it. What if they're doing the whole tracking thing, but like backwards? What? Tomi's eyes widened. Okay, so you know how in police shows they always stick a tracking device in the bag with the ransom money like that? Backwards. Backwards? Yeah, like instead of putting a tracker on the money, they put it on you. Tomi frowned. I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me. I mean, I'm just wearing my clothes from home. Oh, huh. Well then, how is he doing it then? Barely a moment passed from the moment he got the words out of his mouth. Oh my god. Once again, the man with the cane stepped out on the road ahead of them. It really did seem as if he'd known exactly where they were going to be. How the hell is this happening? Achi groaned. He reached for Tomi's waist, ready to pick her up again. Okay, it's okay, I can run by myself. Achi took her by the hand instead, and they raced into another alleyway. This guy just will not give up. At the far end of the alley, you could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Achi decides to.
How did this?
Alright. Achi snatched up the nearest box, turned and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy. This ought to do some damage. He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face. The man staggered sideways. Here, have another! One by one, Achi hurled every box in the pile. And one for the road! Oh shit. The last box wasn't properly sealed. It broke open as it struck their pursuer, sending several bottles flying. This oh, it's the burning hammer burning.
Oh,
burning
no.
hammer. They shattered as they scratched onto the street, splashing red liquid.
No, it's a burning hammer.
The assassin dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand. Achi looked on in surprise. He couldn't possibly have hit the guy with that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was spattered in red liquid. Apparently the stuff in the bottles had gone in his eyes. Okay, he's dead. He's done.
He's gonna blast off.
Now's our chance. Achi took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alley. That doesn't sound good. Maybe we should have done the forklift thing. We'll see. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Achi ground his teeth in frustration. There are two main types of teeth grinding: subconscious act, or gritting,
Oh, Minoru.
responds to
Oh.
anger. At roughly the same time, Minoru Kawa is grinding his teeth while trying to keep his schedule. Good thing I looked up, ground his teeth, whatever that is. I'm surprised you didn't show me a video of it. Minoru Kawa took a look at his wristwatch and gritted his teeth. By the way, what sort of impression do you have of this wristwatch? Just respond with whatever happens to come to mind. I don't know.
Happy.
Square. Damn, is it that late already? It's limited edition though. Anyways, he needed to head for the sales demo. The surveillance camera article wasn't done, but he just had to leave it where it was for now. Ring! As he was slipping his laptop back into his bag, his cell phone rang. He looked at the screen and saw Chiaki's name listed as the incoming caller. Was she done with her interviews? Hurriedly, he picked up. Chiaki, how's it going? Several wet sniffles came through the receiver. Hey, are you crying? It's no use. Chiaki's voice was indeed punctuated by sobs. People won't stop to talk, no matter how hard I try. Oh, come on, this again, really? I can't do it. Don't worry about paying me. Oh, this happened again. So, this is bad, right? I don't know if... let me just continue and see. If he goes to the street, then we can just... I don't know. Yeah, we need to, oops. Yeah, we need to go and, what was it? Untie, yeah. No, it wasn't. It was before this one.
Yeah. I thought that was her.
What if we ignore her?
She can't be involved with this, can she? Sasama flashed him a skeptical look. Don't let your preconceptions get the better of you. Get you killed. I know that, but still, she doesn't come across as involved to me. Kano knew better than to judge people based on appearance, but he was still convinced the girl wasn't part of this gang. She just struck him as far too, well, inept, really. Alright, I'll go look into the girl, Sasama said. You keep following the Itachi case. Kano nodded and hurried after the man. Okay, we already read this. take that bad end though.
Yeah. Let's get to a save point.
Hmm.
Well, that's new. She
Hmm?
didn't hang up this time. Remember before you hung up and then showed 37 seconds on the timer? But this one she didn't hang up. She didn't. Yeah, let's continue.
Oh.
Think maybe something was happening.
Okay.
I think before maybe she was getting sent home by the detective. Now she's going back.
Alright. Needing the money for his coffee. Okay. Yeah, street interviews were tougher than they looked. Not many random passersby were willing to stop and do a back and forth. Still, being able to talk to people on the street was a fundamental skill for a freelance reporter. All Miyonekawa wanted was for Chiaki to put in a little effort and make it happen. Although he found her personality frustrating, he actually quite liked her writing. Reading her words, you never guess what she was like in person. If she could just break the right story, he was sure readers would be quite taken with her. There was no time like the present. The plaza outside Shibuya was as crowded as ever. Miyonekawa looked around and soon spotted Chiaki. "Hey, what are you doing?" she asked. She was hunkered down in front of the statue of Hachiko, squatting in an odd position. A group of kindergarteners were gathered nearby, peering at her with sadness in their eyes like she was a stray dog or something. Kindergarteners. Kinderpartners. "What's this all about?" Miyonekawa asked. "This is how I end up when I lose all my self-confidence. I just want to hide." "Oh, for crying out loud, get up, will you?" "I don't wanna." "Stop crying." Jackie sniffled and wiped at her eyes. "Let me ask you this," Miyonekawa stared down at her. "What was it that made you want to be a freelance writer?" Well, I guess because I wanted to try my hand at writing." A dangling bit of mucus bobbed in and out of Chiaki's left nostril as she spoke. "Okay," Miyonekawa followed. "And why's that?" Well, I'm too embarrassed." Chiaki hid her face in her hands. "Okay, never mind that then. Right now, you have a task that's been handed to you. You can't just say you can't do it." Miyonekawa tried to keep his tone calm. "No magazine in the world is going to let a novice writer just write about whatever they want. You have to prove yourself first, get your fundamentals down." "I already know all that." Miyonekawa took the notebook from Chiaki's hand. "Hey," she squeaked. "Wait, you've only talked to one person so far?" There sure wasn't going to be a story in that. "Yeah, well, not a person exactly." Wait, what's this here? A cat?" "No, I mean, yes, there was a person in a cat costume." Come on now. I'm tired though.
You can go sleep soon.
Yeah, it's late, I bet.
Boy is getting baby.
Mark, what should I do? Where could the truck that took the burning hammer possibly have gone? I'm standing there, racking my brain, when I hear a voice call out from behind me. Excuse me? Are you, happy with your life right now?" I turn to see a woman holding a notebook. "Huh? I mean, sorry, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? I do not have the time for this right now. I'm more than a little busy." "Oh no, I mean, I understand if you can't." She's giving me this hyper-intensive stare. I can't tell if she's trying to be intimidating or if she's actually afraid of me. Something about her is definitely off, way too jittery and suspicious for my liking. Whatever she wants, I'd rather not get involved. "I'm actually pretty busy," I say. "Oh, I mean, just real quick, it'd be a huge help, please, but, please, please." She bows so many times she looks like one of those drinking birds. Yes, okay. Alright, we're gonna give her... I can't help but feel bad for this poor girl. Ghost dogs in the back. I guess I can give her at least a few moments of my time. Alright, but please make it quick. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. She goes back into drinking bird mode. So what was the question? Alright, so are you, happy with your life right now? Well, right now, as you can see, I'm a cat. Oh, a cat. Yes, I see a cat. So, yeah, I'll put down cat. She just puts the word cat in her notebook. Right, thank you. Are we finished already? Yes. Yes, we can finish right here. There. She hangs her head a little and looks away. Well, that sure was quick. I'm not sure I get what it was all about. Did I really give her enough to be useful? I doubt it, but hey, at least it was over fast. I head off in search of the burning hammer once more. No matter where I wander, though, I almost fuck the truck. Now there's only 15 minutes before the demo's supposed to start. I'd better make my way back to the venue. Maybe Chidi had better luck in her search. Back at the break room, I'm met by Mr. Yanagishita, who positively radiates despair. Did you find it? I'm sorry, I tried. And Yanagishita's shoulders slump further at my response. Have you heard from Chidi? I asked. No, nothing yet. I guess she's our last hope. All of a sudden, Mr. Yanagishita holds up a pendant. The situation's rough. I'd like you to wear this. It's a miracle stone, like the one I saw back in the storeroom earlier. This ought to kick up your luck a notch. Now I see that Yanagishita is wearing another miracle stone around his own neck, using one bit of sham merchandise to help find another. Nice. This is the pinnacle of pitiful. That's what this is. Hurry up, put it on, before the luck runs out. Mr. Yanagishita's eyes are all bloodshot. Something tells me that refusing this request wouldn't be wise right now. Oh. After a moment's hesitation, I take hold of the pendant. The stone is blue and glittery. Is that Chidi? Mr. Yanagishita squeaks. He whips out his phone. No, sorry, he mutters after listening a moment. I think you have the wrong number. Guess it isn't Chidi after all. Okay. And yet he stays on the line. Huh? Really? His tone suddenly does a complete 180. Yes, please, thank you so much. As soon as he hangs up, Yanagishita strikes a victory pose. It's a miracle! Burning Hammer's back, baby! The recycling guy realized his mix-up and returned the box to the loading dock. Whoa, for real? You girls did great! Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I've never seen someone come so close to being jumping the door. I thought we threw the burning hammers at the guy.
So you can see a burning hammer.
I'm going to go prep the demo room. How about you go bring the burning hammer inside? At that, Mr. Yanagishita practically flies out of the room. No way, I murmured to myself. This thing didn't actually work, did it? I examined the miracle stone more closely. It just looks like some kind of toy jewelry. I wish that I actually get paid my 20,000 yen. It's worth a shot. With the miracle stone still clutched in my hand, I hurry out to the loading dock. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's there! It's really there! The cardboard boxes are scattered all around outside. Wait, scattered all around? What happened to them? I suddenly have a very bad feeling about this. Apprehension gnaws at me as I open one of the boxes. No! I shriek and my vision dims. The box is full. of bottles of burning hammer. All of them smashed to pieces.
Where's the forklift?
Okay, well that was because we threw the boxes though.
Yeah, I was kind of.
People can take, or maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's good because it's not like.
You didn't say bad end. right?
Yeah, that might be a good thing. Yeah. Okay, we should probably skip that.
Alright, let's get this to the We're almost there. Maybe we'll just
Like, poor dude.
I don't know.
The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry. They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian overpass and circled back around. Still following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How'd things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. You were right. She's not part of this. Just one of those street evangelists or something. Oh yeah? Yeah, she kept asking me, but are you really happy with your life? Wigged me out and bailed out of there quick. So, Sasayama? I'm thinking the Itachi case is going to be handed off again any moment now. Huh? Sasayama peered at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he just entered, apparently looking for someone. I take one side, you take the other, Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide to say, what now? That way we apprehend both perps involved with the handoff. I already read this, so I'm gonna just... Should be? They're still here. Up. Yeah, it's bad end. Yeah, we did. We told him to, but we jumped before fulfilling everything, right? So maybe we should just continue it. Wait, what's this here? A cat? No, I mean, yes, there was a person in a cat costume. I thought since I couldn't see their face, it'd be easier to ask them stuff. Fine, whatever. No, get back out there and get me some more. Even the kids were pointing at her. Minorikawa steered Chiaki toward the passing crowd. What now? Yes? Now! We've got no time to waste. I'll even stand by and watch for a minute. Now, enough with excuses and get out there. What are these kids here for? Minorikawa looked on as Chiaki wandered through the crowd. Her anxious demeanor seemed to repel everyone around her. On the rare chance she did manage to flag someone down, the way she stammered through her initial questions made them take right off again. After a minute or two, she shuffled her way back, shoulders slumped. See, it's hopeless. Okay, some advice. First off, you aren't approaching the right people. Some people are clearly in a rush, you know? You're not going to have much luck trying to flag down a businessman who's visibly in a hurry. Now, folks who are waiting on someone, couples, groups, they're going to be less on their guard. But I mean, if I do manage to nab someone, how do I keep the conversation going? Chiaki asked. That was indeed the tricky part. Whenever I get an answer I'm not expecting, I get all flustered. Chiaki, Have you ever played tennis? Tennis? Well, yeah, I was in my school's tennis club. She, s- she, s- she struck Minorikawa as being more the manga club type, but that was neither here nor there. Okay, that'll make this simpler. What's more fun, rallying with an opponent or hitting the ball off of a wall? Rallying with someone else, of course. Minorikawa gave a hearty nod. And why is that? Because when you hit the ball off a wall, you already know where it's going to come back to. Revelation dawned on Chiaki's face. Oh! It's the same with interviews, Minorikawa said. Don't get flustered, enjoy the rally. But I don't think I'm composed enough to enjoy it. Don't overthink things. Just let yourself enjoy the small talk. Small talk? Oh, I'm sure I'm not any good at that. She was starting to waffle again. Okay, let me ask you this, Minorikawa said, taking a step closer. Are you happy with your life right now? I'm not happy with my life right now, no, Jackie muttered. She hung her head in dismay. Okay, so start with that, Minorikawa said. Huh? Jackie blinked a few times as she lifted her head back up. I'm not happy with my life right now, but what about you? Like that. Oh, okay. A sliver of liveliness had crept back into Chiaki's voice. Minorikawa jabbed his finger right in her face. Right there, he said. Put on that face when you flag people down. Chiaki's smile widened. I'll give it a shot. Thank you so much. Sure thing. Good luck. Okay, we did it. Chiaki strode enthusiastically into the crowd. Oh, and tried to flag down a Westerner who was walking hurriedly past. Did she even listen to a word I said? Minorikawa felt his short-lived triumph melt away. Am I just going to have to teach her everything again from scratch? Then he paused in surprise. Hold on. Okay, good. Okay, oh, whoa. Jackie had snatched a man by the arm in an attempt to get him to stop. To Minorikawa's amazement, the gambit worked before long. It looked like the two were engaged in some kind of animated conversation. Maybe she would get an interview out of this after all. Heck, the look on her face was actually somewhat confident. Sometimes people could surprise you once you got past their surface issues. Is there more clothes left? Water. Now Minorikawa could head to the Burning Hammer sales demo with a little more peace of mind. Speaking of which... Crap, what time is it? In a panic, Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. Think about this wristwatch. That will tell you how you think about the opposite sex and whatnot. What? The demo was set to start in less than 5 minutes. Uh-oh. He really was cutting it close. Minorikawa sprinted into the intersection, heading for Center Guide. We continued. Reading is hard. Maybe I'll stop reading now. Keep going through this. Archie ground his teeth in frustration. He told me he groaned when he slowed down to catch his breath at last. I'm so sorry. He told me he was nonplussed. Sorry? Whatever for? I keep saying how I'm going to help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Archie, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be dead. No! Archie hurried to cut her off before she could finish. Don't go there, please! He sighed, then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. Tomi hung her head. Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still, the lengths you've gone to. Archie looked at his feet, then drew himself up. Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Archie paused, searching for the right words. I've got a little sister. Her name's Suzune. She's cute and smart. Kind of the exact opposite of me, you know? His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity. But she's got a weak heart, so she's in the hospital. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzune was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... Actually, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know? The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about? Achi said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own, really. Achi had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Achi didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. It certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of. I will start reading now. Remember, my throat's itchy now. There's no more water too. Do you think she got injected with the antiviral? It was, yeah, but maybe it's just a cover up. I guess she would have been good if it was really raw. This soup is so soft.
Back again?
Annoying. happened here? Like, he sees like the family, right? Yeah, but it has something to do with like seeing the family. Like with the daughter. Save? Did it say save? Oh, did I don't know. Where's this is bad in here? Maybe we're not supposed to like apprehend them actually. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's not what to do with. Yeah, they're here again. Maybe we're not supposed to try to like get them. You don't? I thought we did make a choice. Maybe not. Maybe it was what they were trying to do. They didn't make it. Oh. Oops. What do you do? Do you want to check this? What if he do something else? Here. did something else. Okay, sorry. I accidentally pressed the wrong button. It's the same right now.
I'm pretty sure it was when I made it.
Okay, yeah, it's the same. Same. We do.
Back out.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe go back to that branch. Select the B option again and then try one more time. It doesn't want to switch.
Or did that.
This doesn't work. Seems like
Better advice. And certain someone else would meet up with an outside of his or her house. So, meeting outside of his or her house?
choices can we have?
There's a person listening. Weird. Here?
Yeah, maybe we leave the study.
Oh, we don't get the plane ticket. Let's jump and see what happens. Right, Shapey? Right, Shapey? So now we give him advice. What's the right advice to give him? Oops. Okay. Let's try one and see. It's saved, right? Oh, we wish they should have stayed. Oops. What?
I think you can back out now, obviously.
We go this way. Wait, where is it? Here? I forget. Is it here again?
Tell him to stay where he is.
Mm-hmm.
That should be.
Yeah.
Now it changed.
Okay. Okay, almost there.
Sleep.
Tired.
This game.
Damn it. Okay. I'll let it run. attack. Mm. What?
It's Hagrid.
Just in case he like does something fucking oh shit. Well, either way he's gonna do that. Uh-oh. Okay, well metallic fling.
What?
What? What? Jack Stanley. He's expired already. Oh, another person's
Or
weird. Security assistance officer. This is not gonna kick ass. Comunicado. Hmm. Who can you trust? Right, I'm gonna stop the broadcast now. There's only one person on it, apparently.